What's going on, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. My name is Knackers, and today is Sunday, May 2nd, 2017. Welcome to episode 148. Tonight on the show, I've got motherfucking MiddleAgedStream and motherfucking BishopGP. What's going on, Bishy?
What up, dude? How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's good. MiddleAgedStream, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Wee! That's also another TikTok trend.
Whatever.
Well, good morning. It's awesome to see everybody. Thank you for stopping in. We're just going to kind of jump right into some shit. We'll go over the drinks. We'll go over the games, kind of what we've been doing a little bit. But what?
Good morning.
Good morning, man.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hello. You know what? I've noticed you guys have been pretty consistent with your room colors, and I'm all about it. However, the one thing that's different is, Bishy, I can tell that there is sun where you are still,
Yeah.
which is something that we don't get to see for like 6 to 7 months out of the year.
Yeah. It's what's crazy is what time is it right now? It's 6 o'clock here. It'll be sunny until the end of the podcast. Like it won't get dark until 9 p.m., which is actually really interesting. I like it a lot just because you feel like you still have the rest of the day ahead of you, but it does throw you off when you're working because you're like, oh, it's still sunny out, I'm good. And then you look at the time and it's 9 p.m. You're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, God, yeah. Quick question. MiddleAgedStream, do you have socks on or socks off?
Off.
Bishop, socks on, socks off?
On. Of course.
Oh, my God. It's 2v1.
I got flip-flops on.
Whenever I get hot when I'm streaming, the first thing to go is the socks. Like,
My feet always get hot, too. Hi, Leroy.
there's sometimes where I look at my floor underneath my desk, and there's just pairs of socks that have just been deployed.
Do you have carpet?
Yes.
You guys both have carpet.
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
concrete floor, so.
Is it cold always?
Yeah,
Lick
it's
it.
pretty cold, man. It's pretty cold, man. It's like an ice rink.
Okay, so you have to have. I think I need to do something about my airflow this year because right now it's only probably 60 degrees, but in here it is raging, and I refuse to turn on my air conditioner and fuck my audio for the podcast. So I kind of just put up with it for the podcast, but I'm really thinking that I gotta figure out how to get some circulation in here.
You get one of those nut fans yet?
Yeah, it's on all the time.
Okay.
I don't have one yet.
Right. So do
sadly.
you need something beyond what the nut fan can provide?
I either need an exhaust or like an air conditioner outside that can blow air into here. But there's no good way to do that. Let's hear it.
I've got it. Let's have... Okay, I know this is going to be a little bit of a stretch because you're not married, okay? But you remember in Batman... I think it was Batman, not Batman Returns, not Batman. It was Batman and Robin was the one that had Mr. Freeze, okay, with George Clooney as Batman. And let's just pretend that, like, all of a sudden Weenie has been given some type of, like, she's been given some terrible prognosis, and you have to, like freeze her. And in the process, you somehow freeze yourself, and now you're Mr. Freeze. And now you wear a Mr. Freeze suit, and now you can stay cool all the time. The problem, of course, being Weenie's going to be in a coma until you figure out what the hell is going on with her, and I know you're not a doctor.
Fair.
But you won't have the problems of being hot, and you won't have to turn on your air condition. Problem solved.
Is there anybody else who's portrayed Mr. Freeze in for a movie, or is Arnold the only dude to do Mr. Freeze?
He's the only one.
Do you think that they haven't touched it again on purpose, or like nobody's ever going to do this any better, and we're gonna leave this one for Arnold?
Better is an arguable thing to say there, but we'll just let that one. We'll let that one go. I hear that we got a lot of things to talk about on the old podcast tonight.
We really only have two, but they're meaty. They are meaty
That's
discussions.
what I mean. There's a meaty topic.
Can I make one recommendation for Knackers for your heating issue? So you know how like sometimes industries develop and then good things come out of those industries that affect
Can
other
I just say
industries?
that this will not even be close to my idea about the Mr. Freeze suit?
This will not even be close, but it's more affordable, because I could imagine.
I just want to.
What's like the ballpark cost on a Mr. Freeze suit, like a legit one? Probably a couple $100,000.
Couple $100 maybe.
Hey, how much are those cryo chambers that people are putting in their fucking houses?
Yeah, that's like, I mean, you figure you pick up a few of those at Home Depot,
Yeah.
a couple $100.
You could go to Sam's Club and get like a deep freeze and disassemble it and turn it into a space suit. Like, how hard?
I'm pretty sure they sell those cryogenic freezing chambers at Costco.
My penis is small enough for a suit like that. Bishop, I'm here. I'm glad to hear what I want to hear what you have.
Yeah, so like I was saying, like some industries develop and they affect other industries. The other day, I was actually thinking about nut fans and that sort of thing, because the racing sim gets really fucking hot just like sitting and driving that thing.
Oh, so that's why you were in the racing sim and you were like, man, I need a nut fan?
This shit is hot as fuck. Like, it gets hot. Like, after like 20 laps, you're sweating. So I found this thing called it's from AC Infinity, but it's a inline fan or exhaust they use for like at-home plant farms or like weed plant farms. But it's like this super heavy duty 200 millimeter fan that's an inline, like in like a chamber thing, and it comes with hosing, and you can basically like zook up a bunch of heat and spit it out somewhere else. So I kind of want to buy one just to mess with it and see if I can take, like, because I have two PCs right here and then the other PC back there. See if I can take the heat from these computers and just push them out into the living room or into the kitchen or something.
Yeah. Or what I wanted to look for was, I'm fine with the BCU of the unit that I have. Yeah. I just need that unit to be
BCU.
Big,
bit cunt umbrellas.
Umbrellas.
It's the amount of units that, like, it's how you rate how big of a space you want to cool. So like when you buy an air conditioner.
Like your gotcha.
Yeah. Something cunt units. I just need something to be outside and then have a vent in, so I can just get the compressor noise out. Even though I love compressors, I need to get that shit out. But apparently, like, that's a whole to do that is a whole thing. It's BTU. That's right. Sorry, I was thinking of the British cinematic universe. It was stuck in my mind. But hey, what the fuck are we drinking right now?
Water, man. But I have a new water bottle. Check this thing out, man.
Hey,
this thing's pretty sweet. Isn't that nice? It's Knacker's shirt.
I also have a hat that is that exact color too, but I'm not wearing it.
Yeah, I just have to show the bottom of it.
I was gonna wear it, but it's too goddamn hot in here for hats.
So
also, sweating a bald head after the first day that you shave it really sucks.
Yeah, you look like a fresh egg right now.
Dude, you look like you just got plucked right out of the carton, man.
Weenie
put some headphones on an egg.
Weenie took a picture of me with Leroy hanging over my shoulder, and I saw what the back of my head looked like. I'm like, that is a thumb with ears from the back, wrinkles and all.
It is really easy to find you in a crowd sometimes.
Good. Thank God she doesn't have to see the back of my head during, like, intercourse. I can't imagine.
That would be an instant.
Only sometimes, right?
Right. When she's giving it to me from behind. Yeah.
I was gonna ask how that worked, but I don't want to know.
Dildo, Jimmy. It's a penetrable device.
I said I didn't want to know. I said I didn't want to know. Moving on.
Are you actually drinking water, Bishop?
Yeah, I didn't even think. Oh, you know what? I have a Bang Energy that I was drinking, but yeah, I didn't plan for this podcast, man. Listen, man, I'm just here, man, because if I'm not here, man, I'll get fined, man. Marshawn Lynch said that.
True, dude. We're talking about practice, man. Yeah. Talk about practice.
Okay, who said that?
Tom Cruise.
Allen Iversons.
Both of them
Jim Mora.
guys.
It wasn't Allen Iverson?
I don't know, maybe Allen Iverson said it too, but the original was... Oh, wait, no, it was Allen Iverson.
Okay.
I'm going to go get my drink while you guys talk about...
We're talking playoffs.
Boys, man.
It was Allen Iverson. For whatever reason, I was thinking of we talking playoffs? Playoffs?
Talk about practice.
That's Jim Mora.
Apparently that line made it into the Ted Bundy soccer show that's on right now. Fucking Ted Bruno. Ted Nugent. There's a fucking show on right now about a soccer coach.
Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Thank you.
Yeah.
Apparently he used that line unironically in that show. Pretty fucking funny. What are you drinking, Jimmy?
I have some red box wine, and then I also have this new Shiner seasonal. It's called Shiner Hill Country Peach Wheat.
I fucking love peach beers.
And it says, pop open a peach, unironically. Hill Country Peach Wheat is brewed with juicy, perfectly ripe peaches from the nearby Texas Hill Country. These peaches, along with a mix of two-row and wheat malts, make for a slightly sweet, refreshing ale. Barely filtered, this brew has a golden hazy color and tastes like it came fresh from the orchard. Pop open a peach. Enjoy while you can.
Yeah. And? Oh, yeah, is this your first?
No, I drank like an entire six-pack like the other day. So I had to buy another six-pack. It's decent. It's not bad.
My homie Squirt actually makes his own wine at home. And I believe when the last time that I was there, he gave me a sip of his homemade peach wine. And it was fucking fantastic.
Peach wine, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really, really good. Huh. Oh, there he is.
I don't... Squirt makes... Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Squirt made some peach wine. Oh, it was pear wine, you idiot.
It was pear. Fuck.
God,
I got
what
myself
dummy.
a little squirt myself.
Yo, you got you a little Ricky Martin,
Yeah.
little Ricky Martin in a bottle?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
see this? It's
little bang?
a little
No, it's
eclectic
not bang.
brewing. Flamingo
Can you stand
Planet.
up?
Oh, sweet. You got a beer.
Can we see your shirt? Can you do a
Hey.
twirl for us? Can we see your
My shirt?
Yeah,
fantastic
can
shirt?
you sachet?
Yeah.
My
Sachet,
shirt?
please.
Yeah, let me see.
My
I want
shirt?
to see how good looking you are. Oh my god!
Look, it is like a little pearl snap. You lied to me.
What, Pearl Snap? Is that what these are?
Yes, you
Oh,
idiot.
They're pearly.
I said, is that a pearl snap shirt? You're like,
I don't know.
No,
I
it's
don't
from
know these
H&M.
words, man. Listen.
I'm like, okay.
Listen, some of us don't sit and play fucking games from the ancient era. Okay?
I thought everyone knew what pearl snaps were, dude. It's a fashion
No,
term.
I didn't
sorry,
either.
Man. We stopped using
You
that
didn't know what a
after,
pearl
after we
snap
killed the
was?
drive-in movie theater back in the day, man.
Okay, I'm going to do a little, can I do a poll in your chat? I'll do a poll while you're talking about that. I can't believe you actually.
Pearly snaps? Is
Are
that like
pearl
a thing?
snaps? Are those like cargo shorts? Are we not allowed to have them these days?
Pearls?
No, I have pearl snap
Okay.
shirts.
All right, good. I was
It's
making
just
sure.
a certain style of shirt.
No,
Yeah.
it's a style
It's
of
more,
button.
honestly, it's more like a kind of country western more style to have pearl snap
Listen,
stuff.
I'm a
But,
real
it's kind
cowboy. Okay.
You are.
I'm
You
a
definitely are
ranch
not a
hand.
city slicker. You're not a city slicker at all.
You put a hat or like a cowboy hat on me, and you look at these soft pearly hands. I think that's what the most pearly thing is. The softness. Of
Well,
my palm.
us guys, we make our own pearls. So,
True.
Mm-hmm.
Mine are
is that what you got on your
solid.
shirt right now?
Oh, a little
fucking
bit, little
pearly
encapsulations. So, but why is
I not
Jimmy
add-
saying pearl snaps are a type of shirt? Wouldn't that be a type of button?
Yeah, but usually if you have a bunch of pearl snaps on a shirt, it's the type. Usually it's referred to as a pearl snap shirt because it represents you have a certain type of collar.
Okay.
The stuff like see how it's got like the little shit on the shoulders.
Oh,
Usually
yeah.
pearl snap shirts have that sort of design
around.
too.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And yeah,
Okay.
it's only reason I know this is because I live in Texas and it is a pearl snaps are very popular.
Maybe when you go and refuel your beverage, you could put a pearl snap on yourself.
I actually would you like me to?
Yeah, Crocs and
Okay.
pearl snaps, man.
I will put on
And-
next time I get a drink.
and
I
a
will put on a
construction
pearl snap.
worker.
I will come back and I will impress you. Now I don't have any punk ass short sleeve pearl snap like you.
No, it's okay.
Mine are all long
No,
sleeve.
if they're real, it's okay. We go from the construction worker that Knackers is to hardcore cowboy that Jimmy will be, and then we've got like the Soho pearl snap shirt wearing guy in myself. So that'll be good. The city slicker.
And I'll have you know, I am monitoring chat, and I usually don't interject. But to the stupid viewer that you have in chat currently named Paul,
Ooh, yeah, that guy's an idiot.
I'll have you know that a lot of people wear long sleeves in Texas because the sun is brutal, and you need to protect your skin from the sun outside.
They're afraid of the sun in
So,
Texas.
Why don't you go ahead and take that in your pipe and smoke it, Mr. Kentucky?
Ooh.
Back to you, Knackers.
Have either of you? Super quick question: have either of you ever thought about being a cowboy? Like,
No.
I grew
No?
up actually in Arizona in a very cowboy-esque area.
The cowboy age
Died, man.
it was like the shortest lived period in American history.
tell that to the people who act on Yellowstone. All right, cowboys are very much alive, and if I could be as badass as any of those dudes
They're
and
not real
ladies,
cowboys.
yes, they are. They're pretending to be.
Okay.
Anyways.
When I think of cowboy, I think literally people who are driving cattle from one place to the next.
No, I just
Okay.
mean like be on a farm, have livestock, make your own
Okay,
milk.
those are like farm hands.
They're cowboys.
make your
How
own.
Or
dare
a ranch
you?
hand.
You just
You're a ranch hand?
You just did the equivalent of calling somebody like a waitress
They're ranchers.
instead of a.
No, they're ranchers. They're not cowboys. Are they fucking riding horses with cattle on a range from one place to the next, because that's what a cowboy is. That's what a cowboy does.
That sounds dumb. I like my definition better.
Or you're a shitty football team in Texas. One of the two.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Oof. Anyway.
Video games, Bishop, what you been playing?
Dude, I've been playing Valorant, a lot of Valorant. I love that game. Great game. The flashes are fantastic. All the utility usage just drives me up the wall. Great game. Love getting killed by Raze's RPG every 4 rounds, so that's good. I've also been playing. There was a Steam sale recently, and I picked up Warhammer Vermintide. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that.
A Steam
sale. Those are happening all the time. There's actually one coming up, I think, right now. Isn't there a Steam sale right now?
Dude, there's a Steam sale like every 3 months, like a big one.
Oh, it's Golden Week sale, you guys.
Hey.
So yeah, I played Vermintide, which is kind of like Left 4 Dead, but in the Warhammer universe. I think that's the best way to describe it, with like progression of your characters. Actually, a great like mindless, not dumb game, but like a mindless game just to play with the boys when you don't want to be queuing Valorant and screaming at each other, or playing like Rust or some game that has like some sort of meaning. So. Yeah, not to talk shit on Vermintide. It's a fun game. I don't really give a shit about Warhammer. I don't think I've ever cared about Warhammer ever.
I used to build and paint Warhammer figurines.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about it. I've heard it's a really deep kind of lore, but
yes, very.
I think it's cool. Like killing rats is fun. So yeah, it's kind of like it's a pretty good game. And then I this last weekend, or this weekend that we're currently in, there's a game called Iron Harvest that went free to play for a few days. And it's basically Company of Heroes, but World War One, so like an RTS game. But in World War One, with it's kind of like BioShock robots, so like a dystopian future of World War One with like robots. It's kind of sick. So like steam robots.
But an RTS?
Yeah. It's basically, it's literally Company of Heroes, but if instead of tanks, you get like these crazy contraption fucking dystopian robot things that kill people. It's pretty cool. It's way faster than it should be, the gameplay. But I had fun playing it. So if you want something like Company of Heroes that is World War One and a little different, then well, there you go.
Everything about World War One sounds cool in video game sense until you actually have to use World War One weapons. And you're like, oh my god, please fucking shoot me with one of those muskets.
Dude, I tell my students all the time that World War One was like the dumbest war in the history of war. It really was, because you're using like tactics and maneuvers straight out of hundreds of years before with modern weaponry, you know. And now I know compared to more modern weaponry, it's not as good, but you're talking the first time having machine guns openly used in warfare, the first time you've got poisonous gas, airplanes, freaking artillery. I mean, just tanks. And then you still got people that are rushing positions with a bunch of dudes thinking that they can run faster than bullets. And that is not true.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I mean, the Civil War was a pretty dumb war as far as like the mechanics that were used and how people were
one too, for sure, because they had the capability now of even though machine guns weren't prevalent during that time, they did have those types of weapons during the Civil War.
Yeah.
I think
they had a few.
Sorry.
Oh no, I mean they weren't common use type items. They had certain types of weapons that could fire faster and whatnot, but they weren't the average. But the crazy thing about the Civil War is, again, you've got masses of people that are together, and you can now reload and shoot weapons way faster than you could before. You have artillery fire. You have all these things that it doesn't make sense to mass a bunch of soldiers together. Huge casualties, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Idiots, man. What were they thinking?
Like, hey, let's line everyone up right here and charge toward that direction. Yeah. By the way, there's going to be cannonballs coming at you from the tree line. Don't worry about those. Just keep going.
Imagine getting fucking pwned by a cannonball. Like, not to the face, but to, like, the rib cage or the leg.
The truth is, those freaking cannon shot that were flying out of those cannons were coming at such force, it wouldn't even have to hit you to actually kill you. If it came close enough to your body, the force coming from that ball that's projecting it forward, that heavy freaking cannon shot, will be enough to rip your freaking face right off. I mean, it could get close enough to where the force would just freaking just like fuck you up.
Trust me, I have a dental pick. I know a thing or two about force.
Yeah, you know a thing or two about cannonballs.
No wonder your anus is so fucking clean all the time.
I am an expert on taking balls to the face. I would like to say I am a qualified historical expert on balls to the face.
And these are the only balls that you can take to your face that will kill you without impact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We need a Cowboys versus Pirates game. I feel like that is the game that we are currently missing in our ecosystem right now.
Are we?
Yeah, can you imagine being a cowboy
That'd be like
on a pirate
Cowboys
ship?
versus Ninjas or Cowboys versus
Aliens?
Aliens. Yeah, I mean it's the same sort of thing.
I think it'd be cool. Jimmy, what games have you been playing lately?
Oh, what? What did you say?
Wait, how would that,
ahoy
wait,
there,
hold on.
sailor.
Cowboys versus pirates. How would that work? That one group is like sitting
They're
on
in
the
the
shore.
wrong time period.
They're
No.
sitting on the shore and their horses, and other guys are on a boat. Like, fuck you, motherfuckers.
It's both.
Yeah, whoa, fuck you, man.
Both groups have the same thing. So pirates have horses, cowboys have pirate ships. Everybody's
They
got
wouldn't know what to do.
That's why it would be great.
Board
Oh
the
my
ship.
god,
Board the
this
ship.
is the
Let's
dumbest
go.
idea of all time.
And then jumps over on the horse.
These fucking trebuchet horses across into their ship when
Yeah.
you're boarding.
Yep.
Genius idea. I'll take
love
my
it. I
paycheck,
love
fucking
it.
EA.
Good luck. Hey, good luck loading a horse into a
And
trebuchet.
they have
By the way,
because they're cowboys. They
Dead horse,
The
man.
under ship. What do you call that? What do you, like the
The poop
storage inside
deck.
of- The poop deck is filled with cows that they're just milking for milk, and then that's their fuel. So they're
Yes.
just milk-filled, meat-filled pirate cowboys.
And then
killing
the
each other.
soiled milk is the what was
what are you? Whatever.
Wildfire?
All right, so-
Remember Wildfire from fucking Game of
Yeah,
Thrones?
Game of Thrones when it was good.
Yep.
Remember when Game of Thrones was good?
No.
I do.
Pretty much before the last season. Okay, so I've been playing Batman for the NES. I've played 9 days of Batman for the NES. I've still been unable to beat it. I've made it close to the end, and yet I persevere. However, because of my inability to beat said game, I've often rage quit. In fact, multiple times while streaming. So I usually can only play it for about an hour or two, and then I have to play something else. So I've been playing some other retro games in the meantime. I've also been playing some No Man's Sky. I played the new Mario Party update, for Nintendo Switch, which now adds online play.
3 years later.
Yeah, dude, but it's fun, and it was fun too because I got to play with my son online. We had a blast doing that the other night, and I did that. I've been playing some Fall Guys with him, Battle Block Theater with him. Like I said, there's a bunch of random other retro games, and then No Man's Sky, of course. And then last night, for the first time ever, just to try it out because it was on a whim and it was late. I was up, and I still feel like playing games. So on a whim, I decided just to try out playing some Yakuza 0 for a little bit. Dude, that game is fucking hilarious, man. And like the animation and everything's really good. The sound, the design, like it's really impressive. Like I'm like, oh my god, I can't get hooked into another freaking series because Yakuza's got like a million games.
Yeah.
But from what I played, I was very much enjoying it. Yeah, it was a really, really good time. It was a good time. So, I'm excited about. I've got so many games to play, dude. It's like I don't even know how to choose anymore. I have so many fucking games.
Can I tell you the relief that I felt when I stopped streaming video games primarily to just let go of that backlog? And like I've literally played 2 video games for like the past 4 or 5 months, and it's fucking great. Just no content needing to be created, no backlog of games.
The difference now is that for the first time ever, I actually have time to play games off stream again.
Right.
So I can just play a bunch of shit now, like because I don't have that same time commitment that was using when I was still coaching. So I have a lot more free time. But you're right, it is true. I would like to not have a ridiculous backlog of games, but the truth is, it's just the way. It's the same way I feel about when I leave work. It's like there's always something I could be doing. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if there was. I have to choose to leave work knowing that there are still things undone every single day.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. Like, you have to understand there are certain, and most jobs I think are like that, but you have to be able to let go of that mentality to just be like, okay, this is all I'm able to get accomplished today. I need to let it go. I need to leave it here. And I've kind of come to the same realization with my backlog, and that is, I'm just going to have a backlog. Some of these games I'll probably never get to.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
okay. It's just, and that's the sad reality, just because there's so many games to play and not enough time.
That what you just brought up about always having something undone, I'm already pretty bad at managing that. Working from home has made that 20 times worse for me because
Dude.
I will willingly work until 8, 9, 10 p.m. on something because it's just like, oh, well, I was going to keep working. I just want to get this done. But there's no resolve when you do that. It's never fucking ending. And I'm doing a little bit better job of it now. Unfortunately, that happening is just the nature of IT. Like, you can leave your office messy with puke on the floor and assignments like ungraded, right? Or there's probably some other parts of our jobs that we can just leave. If a customer doesn't have internet and can't work the next day, like you can't just say, well, it's 5 o'clock, gotta go. And IT is also like one of the biggest industries to lack overtime. Like overtime in IT just straight up does not exist. It's a given that there is no OT, and it's the fucking worst. But I actually might be moving into a position that will have that happen way less in the near future. So we'll see.
Hooray.
We'll see. Any other games? Oh, you got a lot of games. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Like I've been playing a lot of different stuff. I'm going to still keep trying to be Batman. I could see myself maybe trying to jump into some of that Yakuza, though, because that actually, I enjoyed what little I played of it, and I could see myself playing a little bit more of it. So
I think that would be a great stream game for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of wild, wacky, zany shit that happens in that game.
Yeah.
And so it's just fun to watch, man. Like, I sit there, I found myself, like, totally engrossed just only playing it for, like, half an hour.
What system were you playing it on?
The Xbox Series X, the new Xbox.
Okay.
Nice.
The only game. Oh, go ahead.
Did you guys play Age of Empires when you were kids or younger?
Yes.
I guess. Dude, did you guys see Age of Empires 4? They released it. Yeah. No, they didn't release the game. They released a preview and trailer for it. It actually looks pretty good. It's like returning to the Age of Empire 2 roots with just like the styling. But it looks like, at least from the screenshots, that it's way more focused around actually building your city. So,
Age of Empires and the desire to play the newest one perfectly encapsulates the idea of I loved the game at one point, but no matter how many times I try, I'm not going to love it now. And that's just that for RTS games. That's just the reality for me.
Oh yeah, man. I even though I like Age of Empires, I'm terrible at RTS games. I can't play multiplayer very well if I'm playing versus and not co-op with someone. Like, I'm just not very good at those types of games.
Yeah,
but I do enjoy them.
I loved Age of Empires 2. Like, my dad used to play it. I used to watch my dad play it on his like compact computer with the little like fuzzy ball mouse. And I love that game up until the point that I played it against someone that played meta. Like, I played it in multiplayer, and I was like, God, I fucking hate this game. Like, all
Get
that
Zerg
I had was,
rushed
like,
one time.
Yeah, the scorpion little fucking siege equipment things just killing all my units. I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? I'm building a fucking RP village here, man. Like, and then my streets are beautiful.
StarCraft Brood War on Battle.net and Age of Empires 2 on The Zone, MSN The Zone.
Oh, yeah.
Those were my first like multiplayer gaming experiences.
Dude, I used to play X-Wing TIE Fighter on The Zone all the time.
Oh, yeah.
On an old 56K modem, baby.
Dogfighting games there was Crimson Skies for the original Xbox. It was like one of my favorite games ever.
That was one of the first games ever on Xbox Live.
Yep.
I think.
And I fucking loved it. I've tried dogfighting games since, and I just can't get into it.
Too realistic, yeah.
The only game that I've been playing, I've actually taken a mini break from Call of Duty, and Weenie and I have been playing The Division 2, just playing the storyline of that, and that is a great, just chill and fuck around game. It's a massive change of pace from playing Call of Duty, but Weenie and I have such a fun fucking time playing like games like that or Wildlands, stuff like that. Super fun. All right. Main event time. Do we want to talk about? Yeah, let's just talk about it. Okay, so I want to preface this conversation with we're not discussing whether or not Hot Tub Stream should be on Twitch because I feel that answer is obvious. What I am my desire with this type of conversation is to educate myself a little bit. So I am. And I want to be careful how I word this because for any women in the chat, it is not your job to educate me, right? But the reason that I have these conversations, especially on the podcast, is so that if I have a mindset that is incorrect, not opinion incorrect, but just straight up fucking wrong, I want to know. Like, I thought about having this conversation with women on the podcast as well, which is something that I probably will do. But if there's one thing I learned from the Black Lives Matter movement, it's that there's only one thing that African Americans find more annoying than being like killed by police, and that's having their white friends ask them, hey, can you come educate me on this thing that I should already fucking know about? So I understand that there is a line. So I want to get educated. The reason I'm talking about this is because I want to expand my perspective on things and get sides, get perspectives from all sides.
I'm glad that you are opening up to try and gain some perspective. I think I'm going to be able to bring a lot to this topic, considering I did my very first hot tub stream, actually technically a pool stream yesterday.
That's right.
So I'm kind of an expert. So you kind of have the right person for this show.
That's what I'm talking about.
An expert. Yep.
So, two things. One, if anybody in chat wants to use the !Q command to give some perspective, to reply to a point, I'm going to be actively looking at them. And then at the end of the conversation, we might respond to some things. If you want to shoot me a DM or shoot me an email after the podcast, any of your thoughts, even if they're negative, I want to know, especially women in chat, especially because I feel like this is something that I probably don't have a lot of great insight on. And
can I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
I also would like to open my DMs to you viewers, although I only want positive thoughts. If you have negative thoughts, I want you to DM either
I'll take all of the
or
negative ones.
BishopGP. I only want positive. Please send any negative thoughts to these guys.
Just us, yeah. We'll eat them up.
Yeah.
Jimmy's too fragile to take on any constructive criticism.
That's true.
All right, so obviously the topic is hot tub streams on Twitch. And I am of the mindset of what's wrong with it? Why is this a topic of conversation again? I can't believe we are going over this. I think that there are some valid points that I don't feel are all that valid in relation to Twitch, but I feel like they might be valid on more of a grand scale. So we have the obvious low-hanging fruit of women showing skin on Twitch is an easy way to get views, right? Or it's a way for them to just kind of get ahead of everybody else when we don't need to discuss this. Women aren't stealing your views. If that's all it takes for somebody to choose somebody else over your content, you have some looking inwards to do. Also, the people that are watching that content probably don't want to see you fucking play Getting Over It for 12 hours straight.
And
the
why
people
would you
who
want them in your channel in the first place?
Exactly. You want that harassment? Come
Yeah,
on.
saying that you can't compete. Like, I've seen a bunch of TikToks. Sorry to interject in your intro to this, but I've seen a bunch of.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. But I've seen on TikTok especially a bunch of streamers creating content where they're like, how am I creating funny content on Twitch and then showing like a hot tub streamer and saying, how am I supposed to compete with this? Or like me trying to compete with this and acting like that's competition. There's no competition. There's no sort of competition between you and the content they're creating versus what you're creating. And to imply that you want that sort of viewership, all these streamers care about is the number. They don't care about the quality of viewer that is sitting and watching. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want a bunch of people that are in a pre-game lobby for Brazzers coming into my stream to watch me playing fucking some NASCAR racing game and be like, oh yeah, put it on the inside there. Get in there. Get in there.
See, this is the way I see it. I think it's kind of funny and clever.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my initial take on it when I started hearing about all the hot tub streams and stuff. I thought it was kind of funny and clever because basically what some of these people are doing is they're using Twitch's own terms of service against them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
By basically kind of skirting the rules to provide this sort of content where you can be streaming from a hot tub and you can be wearing a bathing suit assuming you're in a hot tub. Well, what's a hot tub? Well, it's an inflatable pool you get from Walmart, I guess, you know, or whatever. And I think it's kind of clever and funny, and I think it's just kind of become a meme. But I know that it's not just that surface level. I know that there's more to it across the community now, especially because a lot of people have been talking about on Twitch So I'm kind of curious to hear what everyone's take is on it. Because, me jokingly, I just made a stupid scene out of it and, made a pool party scene. Just You're part of the problem. I am part of the problem now, guys. I am part of the problem.
Sonner brought up a fantastic point in Discord that has nothing to do with the act itself or what we're perceiving as the problem. He said, water weighs a fucking shit ton. How, I'm waiting for one of these hot tubs to fall through the fucking floor because somebody in their $600 apartment is filling up 100 gallons of water in their bedroom and they're just gonna fucking sink through the floor to somebody else. Oh my God, that would be the best clip in the world.
How do you drain a hot tub?
Would love to. It would probably happen in Russia, on a Russian Twitch stream, of course.
Yep.
Yep. Just because those are the types of things that you see happen in Russia all the time, apparently. But no, I'm not really sure where all the. This is kind of one of those things that I've heard. I have heard that people are upset about hot tub streams. I haven't really personally witnessed anyone upset by hot tub streams, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I hear this. Everyone is talking about it, but. There's nobody that maybe just because I'm sheltered in a corner far away that I don't see this sort of stuff. So I don't really see that there's a big outcry against it or not. I mean, is it not just become one of those other things that remember when body painting kind of became a category on Twitch and when that became kind of a big thing, and there was all this kind of uproar about people who are body painting on Twitch, and I'm like, well, fuck, if you want to body paint, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? I don't think anyone want to see me body paint. You know what I mean? I'll make sure I have some pasties on first, though.
A lot of people
cover up my nipples. Can't be showing no nipples, man.
So that kind of touches. Go ahead, Bishop.
I was just gonna say, go back to your introduction because I did cut you off within the introduction of this whole thing, right?
Oh no, that's okay.
Okay,
because I probably would have
about other streamers thinking that this is competition and complaining about the competition, right?
Right. So the main points of discussion that I'm interested are one, why is this a bad thing? / why shouldn't this be allowed on Twitch? Mm-hmm. The second point is with favoritism and with favoritism on Twitch, why are we surprised still that some people get it easier than others when it comes to bans, when that's just how the fucking world works? Right. And then the third one, which is kind of the one where I have the least amount of knowledge, is when it comes to the sexualization of women's bodies, where is the line when it comes to this kind of stuff? Can we just say women's bodies are not sexual, breasts are not sexual, asses are not sexual, so therefore...
Sexualization of women's bodies has been... I mean, there's a reason why they call prostitution the world's oldest profession.
Right.
Which is technically not true because the world's oldest profession is actually farming.
Cowboys.
Fuck you. Cowboys. Okay? I mean, Pirates. I guess if you really want to be technical, the real first jobs were hunting and gathering. But the point I'm trying to make is... It's everywhere, man. There has been a hyper focus on the sexualization of women's bodies, all in all parts of the developed world. You have most places in Europe, prostitution is legal, whereas it's not legal in the United States anymore. It used to be legal in the United States, and in fact, there's a few places in the U.S. where it is legal, but it's the exception to the rule. Okay, you have magazines like Playboy and all the different porn and everything else is out there. I'm not saying that these things are all inherently bad. What I am saying is, are you ever going to change the sexualization of women's bodies and the focus on that? Should that truly be the focus of? No, I get it. There's a difference when we're talking about the type of industry, right? Because this is the argument where it comes to Twitch. Because the typical or the average female streamer on Twitch is not in a hot tub. Are there a lot of hot tub streams? Sure. Are they anywhere close to the total ratio of female streamers on Twitch? Nowhere close.
Okay, here's a question.
Fraction of a percentage, I'm sure.
Here's a question based on that. Are the women that are in hot tubs getting more viewers on average than the women that are attempting to just play games or do anything else on the platform?
I think you probably don't have a large enough sample size. I would say maybe I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
I really don't know. I don't have any analytics to answer that one way or the next. I think you could make an argument that that's something that you're going to draw. Basically, what is this? It's basically like a PG-13 cam girl type of deal, right? Because you're interacting those cam girl sites where they might show you, I'll show you some some
Bobbums.
My boobies,
Little
or
bobbums,
I'll do some stuff. As you're chatting and tapping, you make a little donation.
Yep.
It's basically like a PG-13 cam girl sort of situation, right? Where you're interacting with people, but you're not doing anything you're not showing any, nudity or anything like that. You're just kind of wearing a swimsuit.
Right.
And it's provocative more by nature, I think. And I think I don't have a problem with it, but I feel like if you're going to be drawn to that sort of content on Twitch, if that's the sort of thing that you're into watching, good on you. I don't see how it's affecting anyone. Is really affecting anyone else? It's not affecting anyone else in the sense that viewership-wise.
Right,
now,
right.
it's affecting other people in the sense that people go in and sexualize women and make shitty comments. Does that now spread to other parts of
Right.
Twitch, to other parts of the platform?
That's one of my main things because is this a catch-22 where if we didn't over-sexualize women, would we not have the problem of people going to non-hot tub streams and expecting boobs, right? Or would that still exist? Because I feel like that statement in itself is a slippery slope. We shouldn't let these people do this because it's going to make it harder for the people that aren't doing that content. That's the mindset or the reasoning that I struggle with the most. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me because what I do with my shit, nobody should go to Middle-Aged Stream expecting technical support, right? God, if anybody goes to Middle-Aged Stream for technical support.
Exactly. Jesus.
So that's one of my biggest questions right there because I don't understand that perspective.
Yeah, I think it goes back to, like, at first I was saying that there's this small subset of streamers that think that what other people are doing on the platform affects what they're creating, right? So, like, they're taking away from you somehow by producing this sort of content, which is totally untrue. That's just like it's like a lack of self-confidence in the content that you're creating, right? If you think that your viewers are going over to watch a hot tub stream because they're sexualizing themselves or sexualizing their content, that's it doesn't equate, right? That's not what's happening, right? I think that the biggest problem at hand, and the problem that most streamers have, people that invest a ton of time into Twitch to become Twitch streamers, right? Like, that's like a label that we're proud of, or like being a part of this grander Twitch community. When we go to the biggest category, which is just chatting, and we see the top, open it up right now. I urge anyone that's listening or watching this to go open up the category of just chatting. I don't know what it looks like right now, but in my experience recently...
stop watching the podcast right now and watch a hot tub
spam
stream.
Crocs
Come back
pockets
here.
in their chat.
Come back here
So we
if
can
the
prove.
content you find over there is not as interesting as this content.
That way we can
I
then...
hope to see you guys come back.
Yeah, we can complain.
If you don't
we can
come
complain
back, I
about
get
them
it.
stealing our viewers at that point. But I think the problem at hand is that people that are investing all this time to become Twitch streamers or be part of this Twitch community or build a brand on Twitch, that's being tarnished by the image of Twitch. When you initially enter Twitch, the main category is this overly sexual content, right? Like, someone outside of Twitch that's looking in might look at Twitch and be like, oh, okay, this is just another weird cam girl site, right? Because that's something that most people are familiar with. They've all seen some variation of a cam girl website being advertised on shitty websites, right? So I think that that's the biggest thing, and that's why it's twisted into this meme. Like, it's not a bunch of streamers with pitchforks being like, get this off the platform. It just looks bad, right? We all know exactly what this is. We know it's an over-sexualization of whoever's doing this thing to obtain some sort of viewership to make money, right? That's all that this is. Now, to go to Jimmy's point, like, this all stemmed from the TOS update. I think it was in 2018 or 2019 where they came out saying...
I think it was...
Go ahead.
I think it was 2019.
2019. Okay. In 2019, there was this big TOS update that we actually covered a little bit surrounding your clothing and what you could wear. Because there's always been this conversation on Twitch about, women that aren't playing games or men coming in and overly sexualizing themselves on the platform that is meant for gaming. Initially, that was meant for gaming, right? That's always been a conversation. And they came up with this new 2S to say, hey, you have to wear clothing that's realistic for your environment. So for an example, you can't sit and play StarCraft and be wearing a bikini that's razor thin, right? You have to wear.
Actually, I can
You can
because I'm
a beard
an
glass,
avatar.
technically.
So nobody knows.
Yeah. So that was the ruling that they came up with. And
Suck on that, Twitch.
I'm a workaround, motherfucker. But that's kind of the thing. Like, they created this TOS that said, if you're in a swimming pool, you can wear a bathing suit, right? That makes sense. But you can't sit and wear a bathing suit while you're sitting and playing games. You have to be wearing appropriate clothing for your environment. And these women aren't stupid people, right? Like, we're not talking about idiots. They looked at the ruling and said, okay, so I'll just take a hot tub and I'll put it in my fucking room, because then I'll be in the environment that is appropriate to wear this bikini on stream.
You're exactly correct. I'm in some water in a hot tub.
Right. I'm wearing appropriate clothing for that.
And so that's what made me think it was kind of funny, because I knew immediately it was them basically retaliating against what is arguably shitty and vague terms of service, where other streamers have been banned for like doing body paint stuff, even though they were really abiding by the terms of service, which were generally vague. I mean, it's just the whole approach Twitch has taken has been.
Remember when you could get banned for sleeping on stream?
Yeah, now that's like something that you can do now. Like, apparently, you can sleep on stream.
Yeah.
So the one thing that you just brought up that is interesting, or an interesting point, is that when people come to Twitch, it's the first thing that they see.
Right.
And isn't that a problem with how Twitch categorizes their, like, just highest number of viewed thing is at the top always? Like, is that an actual problem, or is that a problem because of how Twitch shows streams to viewers?
No, I don't think so, because I get what point you're making, but I think that at the same time, it's irregardless of what the viewership numbers would be, because if people are searching for that type of content, they'd know where to find it. So, for instance, if someone's playing League of Legends, this is the biggest category, I guarantee you that someone's going to be in their hot tub playing League of Legends, right? I think in general, the larger conversation is whether or not Twitch thinks that is good for Twitch's identity, because this is a Twitch decision, not a decision of the people that are using Twitch, right? Is that part of, do they want sexualized content to be at the forefront of their product? Because if they allow sexualized content, it will infinitely exceed the average streamer's ability to compete. Or to show up in the viewership numbers, or even to have a place on that platform. People that are going to a platform to watch sexual content will find it, right? They're going to find it over people that are just regularly streaming, and that viewership isn't going to trickle down into other channels. So Twitch has to make the decision whether or not sexualized content is acceptable for their platform or not. And then when they make that decision, then you're going to see a rollout of a majority of streamers are going to start, new streamers are going to pop up that are doing this exact same thing.
I think I
mean, I don't know. I see what you're saying. I don't know if I get that they can probably draw a decent amount. I think I did a little research in preparation for this stream. Yeah, but honestly, I think the streams I went and checked out, they all had under 1,000 viewers, which, don't get me wrong, that's still a lot of viewers, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a drop in the bucket compared to all the other streams that are out there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that Twitch is like it's going to just all of a sudden become nothing but hot tub streamers. I don't think that's. I think it's more of a niche. Is it niche or niche?
No, niche.
It's both.
Okay.
Potato, tomato.
Yeah. It's kind of a niche stream type of experience. You have certain people that are looking for that sort of thing, and if that's what they want to watch, that's what they want to watch.
Right.
And if that's what you want to provide, provide it. But even when I was looking through, like, I had to scroll a ways to find hot tub streams. Like, it wasn't like they were at the forefront of just chatting or
really,
no.
Oh. So I think, to clarify, my implication is that if Twitch allows sexualized content to a certain extent, you're going to see a lot more people utilizing the platform for that. And you're also going to see a lot less people utilizing the platform for creating the content that we're already creating, right? If they don't feel comfortable with being in line, if the term Twitch streamer, the identity of that becomes, riding a hot dog instead of a hot tub in a bedroom, a lot of people will potentially go to other platforms like YouTube, right, to start streaming.
But again, is that whose problem is that?
It's not well, if Twitch is making, but that's the thing. Like, what is Twitch's greatest? What's their grand plan? Is it to continue making money off of subscriptions? If so, maybe sexualized content makes sense for them. If it's to sell money through advertisers, then it creates a whole different problem.
I don't think this is as big as a deal as I think it's just word of mouth has made this a big thing. But I think if you were to actually look at the metrics, this is a drop in the bucket for what is actually going on here. Now, like you said, could it grow as a result of some people having success doing it? Sure.
Right.
I don't know if I could ever see this outclimbing all the varieties of other content that are out there. You know, and until Twitch gets better about policing up their own terms of service and actually implementing their own terms of service when they need to,
right?
You're going to continue to see this ambiguity between who gets a ban, who doesn't get a ban, based off of fucking viewerships and metrics and all that kind of shit. I think that's the unfortunate, pessimistic way of looking at it, but I think that's probably the most realistic way of looking at it too, in my opinion.
There are 2 points that I kind of want to merge into one to get both of your thoughts on. And I want to preface this with, I hate kids. Like, I don't know what it's like to be a parent. I don't know what the responsibilities are like. Nor do I care, because I don't want kids. A point that Elizabeth brought up, which is a good point that I kind of refuse. If a kid goes onto Twitch and sees sexualized content, like, what's a parent supposed to do? And to me, that is the equivalent of, how am I supposed to explain to my son why 2 dudes are kissing? How am I supposed to explain to my kid what a homosexual is? I shouldn't have to do that, when in reality, yes, it is your motherfucking job to do all of those things. I don't think that, well, kids are on this site. Okay, it's not nudity. Okay, it's sexual. I still am having a hard time defining what sexualized content is compared to just it's a woman in a bikini. So that's issue number 1 that I have. And issue number 2 is, why should it be Twitch's responsibility to police what you're watching? And that kind of migrates into what Technobabble is saying in chat as well. Like, hey, if I tell somebody that I stream and they go to the website and they see that, like, what are they supposed to think? That's not Twitch's problem. That is your job to preface that to your mom or your grandma or whatever. And again, it's not like it's porn. It's a girl in a bikini. Yes, are the bikinis fucking thongs now? What does a brother got to do to find a swimsuit that isn't a thong? Or not a brother, a sister. But holy shit, every bathing suit is a thong nowadays. Why is that a problem? It goes back to that same argument. It's like, how am I supposed to explain this when
this is like you're bringing up a question that has much greater implications than just society in general. This is a sociological issue too. If you look at just society in the West, and not just the West, look at the difference between the United States and Europe with acceptance of nudity. You see nudity on the front page of newspapers and stuff. When I was living in Germany, I would go out and on the market outside of the military base, and you see a newsstand, and there'd be like, freaking titties. I'd be like, whoa, and nobody's batting an eye. It's all about culture and what everybody else is kind of used to, and I think with this particular issue, I think that it hasn't become a big enough problem for Twitch to have to look at. So they're just going to be bygones until there's something they have to do. Because I don't think they don't see it as a problem, because it's just everything they're doing is totally legal and fine within their terms of service.
Right.
So until someone can bring some type of plausible reason why you can't do this, Twitch can't do anything legally, because the other side will have now, unless Twitch were to change their terms of service. Twitch can't do anything because legally they're within their rights, the terms of service, to do what they're doing.
Right.
So what the fuck can Twitch do outside of changing what the terms of service are?
Right. I think this, it's a tough conversation, because I think that to say that there's in Europe, obviously, like, our culture is anti-nudity. Like, showing breasts, any sort of nudity of the female is a no-go as far as the Western
Can't even
culture.
breastfeed in fucking public without getting yelled at.
Right, but this has been an argument for decades about, like, the sexualization of women in media, right? Like, you can't show breasts, but you can show just about everything up until you get to that point, right? We've seen Instagram, we've seen, the progress that different applications have made, but
you can have fucking Justin Bieber with enlarged dick bulge on a poster, but you can't, like, nipples through shirts is bad.
Right. Right. So there's some inconsistencies as far as that's concerned, and, like, what's right and what's wrong. But I think coming back to, like, what Jimmy was talking about, I think there's a clear differentiation between sexualizing things in media, right? Like using women to promote products, right? Like Heineken ad of a woman holding a beer, right? In a bikini. I think that there's a clear differentiation when it comes to the sexualization portion between these, like, showing someone a live stream of someone swimming in a pool and what is happening on Twitch. And I think that it would be an assault on our intelligence to imply that there's no difference there. I think there's a pretty clear and clean difference. And Asmongold actually made a good point. He said a good metric, and this is, paraphrasing, but a good metric to see if this is over sexualization is if you took a 13-year-old and you put them in the same position, if that would create, or if that would be a problem, right? If you had a 13-year-old just swimming in a pool and they were live streaming, I don't think that anyone would bat an eye at it. But I think if Jimmy pulled up in the just chatting category late on a Friday night and his son walked in behind him, his son would be like, "Whoa, Dad, what website are you on?" Because of the clear difference of what's happening, right?
And is that because we've conditioned the country, like the kids of our country, to sexualize women that way, or is that just how it is?
I mean, it's just like it's a comparison to the example, like it's a comparison to a camgirl website, right? We've all seen one, so we know what that looks like. And when you go into just chatting and you see a bunch of girls in a bathtub, there's a comparison that you can make in your mind that is a similar presentation, right? So it's through your experience of what you've seen in the past that gives you that perception.
Okay. I guess where I'm getting lost is putting a kid in that scenario. Like, if you put a 13-year-old in that scenario, do you think the kid is going to just be aggressive and over-sexualize, or like berate them or harass them?
So the idea is, let's take a 13-year-old, right? Look at Indie Fox. Pop her out, put in someone's child, right? Exact same communication, exact same behavior, exact same content. The only difference is that we're changing the vessel, right? Of who's sitting there. Would that content be considered overly sexual at that point? Right? Would you feel worried for that person in that situation? Obviously, an adult can make those decisions for themselves.
Right.
But if a child is in that perspective, as a parent or as someone that is looking out for children, would you feel worried for the perspective of what they're doing?
Are you saying that if there's a 13-year-old kid in the hot tub and live streaming?
In the hot tub, riding a hot dog, saying, "Oh wow, thank you so much for the subs," doing the exact same thing. No difference between the content, just the person that's involved in that content. Would you then have the opinion that content's overly sexualized?
I don't know how to answer that because of the terrible shit that people do with kids, right? Whether it's under parental supervision. Like, would I think that was sexual? No, I would think it was a kid in a pool. But again, 13-year-olds shouldn't be fucking streaming on Twitch. Like, no 13-year-old should be on camera. Take the hot tub out of it. Take the live streaming out of it. That's not a place for a 13-year-old, right?
Okay.
So that's where I'm kind of seeing the biggest lack of structure.
The biggest difference between these two examples is obviously the age is the biggest thing. But one of the biggest things is that we, as a culture, feel that people of an older age have more responsibility and more of an ability to make decisions for themselves, right? And where a child potentially doesn't have that same ability to make decisions or be responsible with what they're doing, right? So, like, having a woman can do whatever they want, right? They can stream on any platform as long as it's within the TOS and do whatever they want. Like if they want to create an OnlyFans and show their vagina off, go for it. Like that's totally their own decision. The reason we don't let kids do that is because that they aren't responsible enough, right, to make those decisions for themselves at that young age, and they're still developing. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that behavior, what I'm asking is the behavior that that one of these hot tub streamers is embarking on, is it overly sexual to the extent that it wouldn't be appropriate for someone if they weren't of that age?
I understand that, but how come we've never had this stink with smoking weed, or alcohol on Twitch? Why is it all of a sudden when it comes to women in bikinis, all of a sudden we're worried about, I don't want my kids seeing this. Those other things fucking kill people.
Right.
And yet we're more concerned about a kid seeing a girl in a bikini. Like, at the end of the day.
That's a culture thing, right? That's a total
absolutely.
Culture thing. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess the question to go back, I forgot what her name was, but or his name or their name, but you mentioned someone brought up, like, if a child comes onto Twitch and that's what they see, then like, how am I as a parent supposed to explain that, right? And obviously, like, you have a responsibility as a parent to make sure that your kids are doing things that aren't going to harm them. But I think that Twitch in general started up as a gaming platform, so there's like an implication that you're going there to watch, Jacksepticeye play Minecraft. And all of a sudden, that's the content that's being portrayed to you. So if it's an expectation, right? If it's something that Twitch agrees to, like, hey, Twitch, this is our identity. We want everyone to have a platform to stream on. This isn't just about gaming. People can do all kinds of different things. Then that's an expectation as a parent to be like, oh, okay, well, I don't want you to go onto Twitch, right? But that's currently not the environment that Twitch has been and Twitch's identity up until this point, right? Like, to go back to someone like Amaranth has been able to do what she's done on Twitch for 5 or 6 years, where new females who have tried to enter the platform have been banned for the exact same things that she's trying to do. But because of the fact that she's been around, they're basically gating it off as a, like, people haven't been allowed to do these things actively, right? It's only been like the top percentage of streamers that have found success through these things that have been allowed to do them.
So I get, one of my main rebuttals to that was, if your kid is on Twitch, that's not Twitch's problem. That's you as a parent's problem. However, I think the counterpoint to that is there isn't a scenario that is fit. There isn't a scenario that I can think of that has adult activities going on where a 13-year-old would also be, right? Like, you can't say, well, if you send a kid to a bar, they're going to see, like, sex and fights and alcohol, right? But kids aren't allowed in bars. Like, I can't think of another scenario where, a 13-year-old is going to go here. Well, you can't send a 13-year-old there because of the shit that goes on. Like, can you think of a different analogy that would make sense to that? Because I think that's where my argument kind of falls through.
I totally understand, right? So, like, there's like the expectation of what the kid's going to see when they go to that platform, because there's no preventative measures currently on Twitch that prevents someone of a certain age from going to the platform. The only thing that they have is something that indicates that this is mature content, right? Right. Which is like a very, very, very thin barrier between actually accessing that content, which is the same if you go to any sort of pornographic website, right? So I think the biggest difference is that if I go to Brazzers right now, or if I go to any porn website like Pornhub or whatever, any one that's like an open platform, I don't go there with the expectation to watch anything but that sort of content, right? So I have an expectation going there. So to take that exact example, that's what Twitch is for gaming. That's what Twitch has been for gaming. You're going there to expect to watch live gaming, right? That's what their identity has been for a long time. And it's changing now within the past like 3 or 4 years, where you're starting to see like more IRL streams. You're starting to see people do, podcasts and stuff like that. But primarily it was a gaming platform. Obviously that identity has changed recently over the past 3 years or so. But there's not an expectation as a parent when you send someone to Twitch that they're going to go there to see sexualized content, right? As a parent, when you send someone to Twitch, there's an expectation that there's not going to be racist paraphernalia or like someone recruiting for ISIS, even though it might slip through the cracks. And it
Yeah,
might show
yeah.
up.
Okay,
It's just like
I get what
YouTube,
you're saying.
right? It's similar to YouTube. Like if you're a parent, you can be like, hey, go to YouTube. Like you can watch some videos there. Like Jimmy, you should probably speak on this more than any of us because you're the parent. But when you let your kid go onto a website, you know the negatives of that website. Like if you send someone to YouTube, they might find some weird shit or like a Vice documentary of people getting their heads cut off, right? But you know to tell them not to go there. You know that content exists there, but you know while they're browsing, they're not going to run into like.
We have told my wife and I have told our son that when we gave him the technology, that he did not have any semblance of privacy.
Right.
That whatever he decided to look at the internet, he should assume that we can see it too, because I can see what he searched. I have his search history because I've only installed the Edge browser, so I have the Edge browser controls on for him. So like I can see all of his search logs. It's funny, I've been saving them in logs because I want to eventually show his search logs to his future wife someday and just say, hey, this is what my son was searching for when he was 10 years old on the internet. And there's like Roblox and fucking like My Hero Academia shit. I mean, it's hilarious. But you know, you have to set those boundaries. I think I'm fortunate in the sense that my own son, he's quite intelligent. I'm pretty sure he has a higher IQ than I have. Probably not as high as my wife because she's a freaking genius, but he's really smart. So he does really well with those boundaries, and he does really well with that. Not all kids are like my son, and I'm not just saying. I know a lot of parents say that sort of shit, but when it comes to these sort of things, I can tell my son, don't do this. And he's good. He really doesn't do it, man. I mean, he's pretty good like that. But as a teacher, I know that not all kids are like that. Right. I recognize that we are very lucky. We're lucky. It's one of those things. It's a little bit of nurture because we treat him right, but he's just a good-natured kid.
Right.
And unfortunately, you know, some kids it takes them a while to kind of figure out the right and wrong. I don't even know where I was going with this, but I have a Pearl Snap shirt on.
Oh, nice.
Hey, is that from Kohl's?
No, this is like actually this was from Stitch Fix.
Oh wow!
It was like a stylist sent this shirt to me, so I was like, "Oh, thanks."
So
I guess yeah.
So as a teacher, would you feel it's appropriate to send someone a Twitch link to watch something over a YouTube link? Like, let's say you're like, "Hey, I want you guys to do a little research, and here's a clip from like something that like some documentary. Like, here's a quick clip from it for context, or like some sort of something to watch." Would you feel appropriate sending them? Like you have an expectation when you send them a YouTube link or a Twitch link that there's an expectation of the content that surrounds that.
I send them YouTube all the time because all the stuff I would send my students to watch is all pre-recorded content. Now, more than likely, if it was something that was that good that was on Twitch that was pre-recorded, it would probably end up on YouTube anyway. Right. So I've never sent students a Twitch clip. Not to say that it wouldn't happen in the future. But there's not a lot of the same sort of content that I would send a student for a history class that's on Twitch necessarily. You know what I mean? That I wouldn't be able to find on YouTube.
Right.
You know?
Because there's a lot of dark shit. There's sex and nudity and fucking breastfeeding. And not that breastfeeding is...
Dude, I have to be very careful with the YouTube links and stuff that I have to like watch everything that I send my students just to make sure that it's good, you know? I can't trust just what it says on a YouTube, just like... whatever details.
That recommended feed off to the right. You got to see what that's generating too. Yeah. So something that Elizabeth has had some great points in chat and her most recent chat, but not every parent is going to say that to their children, and they still deserve to be protected so that they don't contribute to sexualizing women. Right. And I think that is kind of where I lack the most intuition is what is sexual about a woman in a bikini? Or is that because of our society, it only sexualized now?
So this goes back to my question that I asked you. Is a woman in a bikini different than a woman in a hot tub riding a hot dog, asking for subscriptions and acting in a particular way, right? Is there a difference in your mind? Like going to a beach, right? Is there a different... Right. Is there a difference in just seeing girls running around in bikinis, swimming and doing what they're doing on a beach versus going into just chatting and seeing someone baiting for subs, riding a hot dog saying, "Oh my God, thank you so much. This is Oh, and check out my
Okay,
OnlyFans.
but you can't tell me that, like, not just women in general, but people in general, when they're on the beach and their shirt is off, they're sucking in their belly, they're tightening up their butt cheeks, they're walking differently, they know people are looking. So I think everybody had, to a certain extent, subconsciously, is acting a little bit different because they're in the public.
Right.
But at the same time, I still can't answer that accurately because I only know
from your
the
perspective.
only way that I know how to answer is how I've been conditioned to answer. Like
So
I
answer
have,
how you'd be conditioned to
I've
answer.
been conditioned to that a woman in the like I am attracted to women who show skin. Like
Okay.
you just
Right,
see just women in
My
general.
wife's attracted to women who show skin.
Exactly.
Other women are attracted. Women's bodies are way more attractive than men's bodies in general.
Facts.
It's just fucking fact.
Yeah.
A woman's body is more
But
aesthetically
that's
pleasing
not-
than a man's
that's not
body.
the question,
with the
right?
exception of men who have mustaches.
So that's subjective, right? So that's not a question whether or not women's bodies are attractive, right? That's a subjective answer that you have.
Right,
My
right.
question is, in the presentation,
Yes.
the difference between the presentation is does one have more sexual undertones than the other? And I can't believe either of you if you say that there's no difference at all.
You know why there is a difference? Because most of the women that are on the front page have massive tits and asses, to whereas the people who might not have as bodacious of assets aren't treated the same.
Right. But is it just the fact that they're physically different, or is it the presentation that they're presenting themselves in?
But I guess I'm struggling to figure out where you're coming from. Why
Right.
does riding a
because
hot dog because her legs are open and there's a wiener in between her legs?
No, it's the idea of what the see, and this is like an impossible thing to prove, but it's the intention of the person and what they're doing, right? Like if I go to the beach and I'm like rubbing myself with oil and going like, hey, like waving like, hey, come see me.
So just a normal day at the beach?
Just a totally normal day at the beach. Like there's a difference between the behavior, right? Like what the presentation is and the what the person is attempting to do, right? And I saw something in chat a little bit earlier. I think it was Kyle, the pirate, that posted it. But they mentioned like Twitch is going to do whatever Twitch makes them money. We've known this for a long time. Like if someone is making, like if Amaranth is making them $1 million a month doing what she's doing, it makes more sense to allow her to stay on the platform than someone that's brand new that's attempting to do the same thing, right? We've
Right.
known that as a thing. They're going to have bias. They're going to have preference. The thing that I'm implying is that Twitch has to make the decision for the platform, right? Like their moderation staff has to be like, okay, this is what we want Twitch to be, right? Because the argument, or that what Kyle mentioned was that Twitch is obviously making whatever that's going to make them the most money, and if it's making the money, that's all that matters. But the biggest difference is that Twitch could just become this huge cam girl website, and they could make way more money than they're making right now, right? Like the money that's invested into those sort of platforms is higher than what Twitch is making off of gaming. I can guarantee it. So they could make way more money going in that direction, but is that what they want to become as a brand? Because the second that they start allowing that, right, if this is something that they want to allow, which is totally their preference, right? It's totally the preference of the women that are taking part in this, but the sponsorship dollars are going to leave, right? They're not going to sell any more advertisements to any big companies like PG&E. That's all gone, right? So they have to find other ways to monetize. So they have to do it through subscription. So that's entirely their decision if they want to do that or not. But the thing is that they have to make that decision as the platform. So the rest of us that are utilizing their platforms as their customers, the streamers or the people that are paying for subscriptions, we know what we're paying for instead of it just being like this up in the air ball, like randomized, unclear message. Because when they're sending out rules that say, hey, you can't have sexualized content, but then there's clearly sexualized content on the platform, that's extremely confusing to someone that's, a parent, a user of the platform, or a streamer that wants to become like, they want this, like Jimmy's son wants to become a content creator, wants to become a streamer. That identity changes with that decision.
Okay.
Like I did my taxes a few years ago, and as a
Jimmy, your
joke,
mic's muted.
As a joke on my taxes, I said that I was a online male entertainer because of the implication of what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry. Yeah, you're muted, buddy.
I agree with what you're saying to a degree. Although I think here's the thing that's important to remember, and I this is really going to blow this whole conversation up probably. But I think the real implication here is less on what's going on with Twitch and more basically just another implication of how society is today, how people are being raised, what the expectations are about communication between men and women. You know, the fact that people can feel like they can, you know, sexualize something. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could be a woman, and I've seen it happen in streams, but, you know, you can be a woman who's, you know, you're only showing really your face and not even really anything else. Be fully clothed, not showing anything, and you're still going to get those people that are going to show up and, you know, target you with harassing type statements and those sort of things, right? So this brings me to the question is, so what do we do? What do we do to fix the overall issue here, like with the hypersexualization of women and, you know, women dealing with these sort of comments, whatever? I don't really know what the answer is, aside from, you know, people need to be better human beings. But I'm not holding my breath for that to happen.
I think this statement is kind of directed towards Elizabeth. I think I'm the part where I'm failing the hardest is when it comes to like training kids to sexualize women at a beginning age. I don't quite understand that. Like, is that happening? Like, is a woman in a bikini and it being shown to a kid? Are they automatically being sexualized? And is Twitch showing that to kids, setting them up for failure? Is that setting them up to sexualize women who aren't looking to be sexualized? Like, is Twitch allowing that content, training kids to treat women incorrectly? Is that the point?
I don't know, man. You got to look at the source of the content. Because, like, when I was a kid, I saw women in bikinis. I saw boobs. I saw all the kinds of stuff because I had a babysitter that loved, like, horror films and a lot of the stuff where I would see that. So it's really, what is the medium now? And Twitch has just become a more popular medium for a generation now than cable TV or VHS movies and shit like that. It is accessible. It's way more accessible than it had ever been before.
So to touch on Knacker's point really quickly, the child that's coming into the stream, like a 13-year-old that's just browsing Twitch, that comes into the stream, they're not immediately going to, like, the difference between that and seeing someone on a beach, that's not a very clear, there's not going to be a clear difference for someone that's younger. But I think that they're setting themselves with a false expectation of how women want to be treated while they're in that outfit. For that particular streamer, they can make any choice. They can sexualize themselves as much as they care, like as much as they want to. But the problem is that
that's what I'm trying to do, baby.
Right, just like Jimmy. He's sexualizing himself. Look at this beautiful mustache he has. But I think it sets a false precedent for that child for an expectation of what women behave like when they're in that sort of situation. Or like how they want to be communicated with. Like some girl sitting at a pool now, this kid's 15 now. He's like, hey, I'll donate a couple bucks to you if you write my name on your arm. Right? Like it creates like obviously like that's an extreme example, right? Like none of these things are wrong, but in what context, like in what platform, right? Like there's like a time and a place for everything, and clearly these people are skewing the rules for their own benefit and for Twitch's benefit at the end of the day.
Is the issue that there is like a transaction of parasocial relationship and money where it's like, oh, like the money's involved, so therefore there's like this weird fake kind of thanks for the money 100%. That's been given?
You're not going to get any attention unless you have some sort of dedication to that stream. You spend your time in there. It's just like Twitch in general, right?
Right.
Like, people like Shroud will notice you way more if you start gifting subs constantly, right? So it creates the parasocial relationship. But I think so to go to Jimmy brought up this issue with like how, you know, if you have these sort of streamers, then they kind of like the viewership seeps into other channels, and then someone that might not be sexualizing themselves gets treated or harassed because of those channels. And I've seen this directly with Casey, who was hosted by a channel that was doing something like this a few years ago. Not like in a hot tub or anything like that, but then she was immediately getting sexually harassed because this person's attracting that sort of viewer, right? They're creating an environment where that's okay for them. And then they're pushing that, like they're pulling people to Twitch to experience that. And then that viewership is pushing into other channels where people are getting sexually harassed, right? And that's something that specifically happened with Casey. And like, of course, like if some shitter chauvinist dickhead hosts someone that's a female, they're going to get harassed, right? There's so many.
Don't say female. We don't say female, remember?
Okay, yeah, because that's not indicative of the identity, right? So
Correct.
So yeah, that's the challenging bit, is like there is some sort of, like, if you cater to let's say you have, like, for instance, if this platform is extremely conservative, like what was that shit that got taken off of the App Store, called like Paragon or some shit like that.
Oh, Flappy Bird.
Yeah,
Flappy Bird got taken off
but
the
there's
App
some
Store.
like extremely like conspiracy conservative platform, but like imagine you invite people to listen to that sort of content, and then you have like a liberal streamer that's talking about, you know, social issues, and you host that person, and it just creates an uproaring of negativity and a bunch of other bullshits. Obviously, you can't control that environment, but Twitch has the responsibility to make sure that they're not allowing that introduction to the platform to happen and then seep into the other channels. They have some sort of responsibility to protect the people that are involved in their platform, right? The other woman.
And that I 100% am behind. Like, whatever we can do to fucking remove the sexual harassment of women on this platform, I am all fucking for. But is that is Twitch's responsibility. It is their responsibility to assist women with this being a safe space, the internet being a safe space. But does hot tub streams negate that? Like, does women being in bikinis in a hot tub on Twitch make it worse for other women?
See, that's the difficult thing to answer. I think it's dependent on, like, it's dependent on what sort of content the other women are producing and like what level of, you know, what they're presenting on their own platform. But I think that in general, if you create an environment where that sort of communication is readily available, or is like at the forefront of the platform, of course it's going to have some sort of negative effect, right? And it's not like this isn't necessarily a huge problem, but like I don't think you could track it to any sort of metric. But I think that if the streamer that's streaming on Twitch, like I'm going to put myself in this position. If I'm going into Twitch to become a streamer, right, I know what the platform has. I have this expectation of what the platform is. If it's a bunch of toxic shitheads, then I know that I'm going into that environment. I think that the problem at hand is that it's very vague of what's acceptable on the platform. So you go with that expectation of, hey, this is going to be a safe place, because they're not allowing, you know, hardcore pornography. So I know as a woman or a male, I'm going to go onto the website and not immediately be sexualized and messaged, hey, look at how big my caucus is. I'd love for you to suck my caucus, from some guy. I don't know.
Dude, you come into my channel and say nice cock all the time.
Nice
you are
caucus, man.
You
like
are so
man.
guilty. You are such a fucking hypocrite.
Nice yak. But I think
it's okay because I'm a dude. You just come in and say nice cock.
But I think you have the so like, as a streamer.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I think you have.
No, you have. Yeah, I mean, you have a beautiful caucus, Jimmy. You're welcome. But I think as the streamer, like when you dedicate yourself to any platform, you have the expectation of what that platform's allowing, and I think it's a bit confusing. Like if you're coming in as someone, what's the age 16 that you can stream at?
13.
Yeah. So let's say you just become
that was 16.
Is it 13 or 16?
I'm pretty sure it's 13.
So whatever age. Say you're a kid,
maybe it is 13.
and you tell your parents, "Hey, mom, dad, I started streaming on Twitch. It's a great platform. It's got a great community of gaming and like people with all different interests sharing the things that they love live." That's what Twitch is. And then the parent goes to the website and they see like this extremely overly sexualized content, which is exactly what it is. There's no debate at all if it's sexual or not. Like it is 100% sexualized content.
Let me just say this. So we were talking about this pre-show yesterday, because usually
Pre-show?
like we usually we'll say a couple words to each other maybe a day or two before the show about things that are coming up on the show. Usually Knackers initiates the conversation in the Crocs channel, and he had brought up that he said this week he wanted to talk about hot tub streams. And I wasn't sure if he was joking or if he was being serious or not, because I literally was just about to make a hot tub scene, you know, for my channel.
Yep.
So I was like, really? And so we talked about it for a while, but here's the funny thing. I was literally doing research. So I said, okay, I haven't been to any. I'm going to go check out a few of these hot tub streams. And I was screenshotting the ones I was going into just for reference and posting them in the Discord. And the Discord wouldn't allow the images. They thought it was too inappropriate content. Like it automatically
Screenshots off of
flagged.
Twitch. Yeah, we're too
It
inappropriate.
automatically flagged. It was literally screenshots from my phone that I was trying to put through Discord, and it flagged it because of the measures that he had on his channel.
I'm surprised that has not blown up on Twitter as Discord is watching everything I do. You know, like, we all understand that Discord is a free platform and that everything that we say and do is logged and watched. I'm really surprised that when people discovered that Discord had AI that could scan media uploads and stop them, surprised people didn't freak out about that. So that was interesting.
I was like,
to me.
I thought there was something wrong with my phone. I kept uploading it, and I was like, what the fuck, man? And it won't upload. And then Bishop was like, God, man, it won't get past the freaking algorithm. I was like, yeah, mine either. I was like, I have no idea what's going on until Bishop said
mine
something.
was just a screenshot of the just chatting category, and they blocked it. And I think, but that's the same thing. Like, talking about Discord in the same context. Like, when you join a Discord channel, you know what the expectation is there, right? Like, we've all joined a Discord channel where they have like an NSFW channel, or like people are sharing really fucking raunchy, weird fucking between a bunch of guys.
I had to leave a couple Discord channels because the NSFW was a little too NSFW for me.
Weird.
It was straight out of like something like on a hardcore website. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my god.
And it's weird to be like, hey boys, we all gaming together. Yo, go check out the post of Riley
Check
Reid.
out the
NSFW
channel. I'm like, oh my god, I just watched a dildo explode out of an asshole.
When is the last time that you went to a house party and everybody was just sharing nudes and porn? And
porn.
It's weird,
I
right?
never
I
understood
just think it's
that.
weird. I get like the risque type stuff. Like, I get that where you would want to make stuff in SFW, but like just a straight channel just for
let me go into Discord and give my homies a boner. Let me give my,
yo, check out this Pornhub video. Man, I freaking nutted this thing like 3 times.
Tentacles.
Yeah, that I never really understood the whole not safe.
I'm like, I thought that was kind of more of a self-discovery thing. You didn't have to share that with everyone.
Dude, the second I go into a Discord and they have an NSFW channel, I either mute the channel if I care enough about the people in there, or I just completely leave. Because, like, if you look in the channel, the reactions and, like, the messages people... Like, I want to be friends with my homies, but I don't want to know what they're fucking beating their meat to. That's a little weird.
Yeah.
You know?
No? Yes.
No, I don't want to look into...
No, not at all, dude. I don't need to know.
You want to hear about how much I like armpits?
No, man.
I worked with a guy who really liked armpits and explained to me in detail.
Man. I knew a guy in the army that was all into fucking feet and armpits.
Stench. They're into stench.
Creeped me. Yes, it creeped me out. I was like, dude, you need to fucking just leave me alone. I don't want to hear.
We're not kink shaming. We're just saying what kinks we're not
if that's
into.
Your thing, just keep it to your
Don't
fucking
make a
self.
Discord
Nobody else
channel
wants to hear about
in someone
it,
else's Discord to share your... It's
Find
just
a
weird,
Discord that deals with that specifically. I'm sure there's one out there.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we've covered some good points on this on the hot tub stuff. It's like, my final point is what I've said a few times now. It's not this huge overarching issue. Twitch just has to address it and be like, hey, this is okay, or this is not okay. And be just definitive about it, so then we can move on. This is totally a result of the TOS update where they said, hey, you have to be in an environment. Like, I just imagine the Twitch staff sitting down at a table. I mean, obviously this didn't happen, but I'm just having like this visual. Twitch staff sitting down at a table looking over the TOS and going, yeah, the point about you have to be in the environment of your clothing. And then some guys in the back's like, hey, man, what if someone puts a hot tub in their room and is in a bikini?
I'm imagining the meme where they throw them out the fucking window,
like,
you know what I mean, at the board meeting.
No one would ever do that. And then they're like, oh, well, if someone does do that, we'll address it at the time. And now
Have
we're
you
there.
not ever questioned the power of the internet? Like, that's what made me laugh, is because I knew exactly what this was. This is basically taking advantage of the terms of service in a way that you can't really... Unless Twitch has to change the terms of service if they want to address it. It really just comes down to that. And it's going to come down to whether or not Twitch wants to address it or not. I personally don't have a problem with it. It doesn't affect me in any way. I can see where there's some of the arguments, I guess, for or against. However, you know, the way I see it is that the people that are doing it, you're being clever and you're finding a way to...
Make him bang, baby.
Make some money with what Twitch is giving you the opportunities to do, which is a robust platform capable of where you can literally broadcast yourself from anywhere in the world. So I get it, and we'll see what Twitch does. I definitely don't think this is the last we've heard of hot tub streams on Twitch. I think there'll be more to this saga.
I think it's a good idea to like clearly state where we stand so we don't get burned at the stake with an out of context clip. I am all for women empowering themselves. I'm totally good with sex work. It's not my jam. It's not the content that I follow, but you do you. Absolutely. I don't think anybody should have a say over what you do with your body. That is the last thing that I want. The points that are made, the opposing points that are made because the women who don't want to be sexualized are feeling like they are getting the short end of the stick. I am all for what you have to say. Like, I'm open to hear that type of thing. Do I think that there's a problem with hot tub streams on Twitch? No. And one of the last things I wanted to address, Bishop, is that you said, well, when I send somebody a link to Twitch and the first thing that they see is hot tub streams, again, you could make the same argument for YouTube, is that if you went there, you could see something that you might not want to see. Like, I don't understand why that is a specific argument for Twitch only. When they're
but I think it goes back to the problem that you mentioned. So yes, to answer your question 20 minutes ago, yes, it's a problem with like Twitch, how they present the content, because it's by viewership, right?
Right.
And by category. So,
but if you send somebody a link to your Twitch,
do you think it's easier to find sexualized content on YouTube or on Twitch? Without searching, just going to the
honestly,
website.
Dude, I couldn't answer that because
window.
I don't look for sexualized content on either of those platforms.
Right.
But
if I'm looking for sexualized content, I know exactly where I'm going. And it rhymes with Dorn Club.
Ooh, Dorm Club. Okay.
Dorm Club. I like that.
What I'm implying is that it's just more at the forefront on Twitch than it is on YouTube. Like, if you went on an incognito browser on Twitch and an incognito browser on YouTube, you'd more likely be recommended a hot tub streamer on Twitch or some sort of sexualized I guarantee it. I
don't know about that, because for my curated feed, I have not seen a single hot tub stream on the front page.
I just said incognito. So without your curated feed.
So you're insinuating that Twitch is purposefully pushing that type of content?
No. They're not pushing it, but it's more readily available because it's some of the most watched stuff on the Just Chatting category, which is the #1 category that they're presenting to you. So like YouTube, if they had different categories for which I actually don't know what they have because I don't use YouTube.
I want to watch you two fucking box over this.
You want to watch us fuck?
No, box.
Oh. We should fight to the death.
I want to see you guys fight. Be like, no, it didn't happen this way.
You know, I've never been.
You both have to be wearing pearl snap shirts.
I've never been in a fight ever. I've never even been close to a fight.
Really?
Nope. That explains a lot, man.
I've been in a few fights in my life, my friends.
You want to know, especially in the last 10 years.
Usually my fault. I want to just let everyone know for the record.
Oh, I know that.
Most of the fights that I've been in have been 100% my fault, barring only one or two.
I don't fuck with people I don't know, man.
I do all the time.
Nope.
I used to. I don't do it so much anymore. I used to a lot more. I just like to sometimes just after I've had a one too many drinks. Sometimes I'll be out in public and I'll just be like, "Hey, motherfucker!" You've experienced.
And that's
this.
when I go like this.
You've experienced this firsthand.
Yeah. But it was at least funny that time because
it was fun.
There was a man in a cookie.
It wasn't too bad.
Car.
Wait, Jimmy, do you have any brothers?
Yes.
Yeah, and Knackers, you have a brother. That's weird. You guys never fought, huh?
Nope. Okay, so we probably had 2 or 3 scuffles. One of them,
where you twisted his nipple and he pulled your armpit hair.
The one that stands out is I would always wear his clothes. I would grab his hoodie or his shirt. And there was one time I walked into the room and we were just not having a good day. And I went to go grab the hoodie off of the chair. He grabbed the hoodie. We scuffled for a little bit. He basically grabbed the back of my neck. It was just shoving it to the ground. I couldn't do anything. He was so much bigger than me. That's the only time I remember us getting physical ever. It wasn't very often at all.
Fighting's overrated. Although I will say, there were some that I could say that they were fun.
Fun fights?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Not like
It's like an art.
I mean, not like
Fear boners?
You know, it's fighting. I'm saying like you're not worried about dying. You're just worried about like hitting somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different nowadays. You're gonna worry about someone's gonna pull a knife on you.
Yeah, or gun, or come to your house.
Yeah. And like back when I was a kid, and when I was, like I said, when the fighting that I did, it was mainly when I was younger, and there was no weapons, and it was just like fucking fighting. You know what I mean? Like there was no knives, no guns. It was just, you know, you try and beat the other person's ass, and that was it.
Bishop, why is a woman in a hot tub sexual? What is it sexual? What?
It's not. So to go back to the point, it's not sexual that a woman's in a hot tub.
It's sexual if it's my wife.
Yeah, there you go, Jim. But it's everything else that is happening, right? It's the behavior. It's what she's doing while she's like writing names on the back of the board. Oh my God, thank you so much. Like it's the entire environment surrounding that.
Where do you want me to put your name? Right here on the edge of the wiener?
And
Is it sexual
right
because
here?
they stick their ass out when they write? Like, what is sexual about that, though?
Okay, so to throw the question, you're basically you're asking a question that's like, how can you possibly sexualize this? Like, there's no difference. You're basically creating a question to illustrate that there's no difference between a girl in a hot tub versus what is happening on Twitch.
But if you can't define what is sexual in nature, then I have a hard time believing when people say it's
The
sexual.
same question that you're refusing to answer this entire podcast, which is, is there a clear differentiation between those two things? Do you feel differently between those? You have evaded that question completely. And you
No,
won't answer that.
no. My answer was because I have been conditioned and because I am attracted to women. Yes, I see that, and
Is there a difference? But you never answered if there's a difference. You only said you're attracted to bigger breasts and big butts. That's what you said.
That is not what I said.
You didn't say that there's a difference. You said that you were attracted to female bodies, and of course that's attractive. But you didn't make a differentiation between someone just being at a beach wearing a bikini and someone being in a hot tub on Twitch doing these things that they're doing.
No, okay. Then I misunderstood the second time you brought it up because you said a 13-year-old and then a woman in a bikini. And I was like, well, I don't think kids are sexy.
Hold on. Stop. I think we are missing the point right now. I think we're getting too much into, well, you said this and meant this. No, I meant this. I think we need to stop where this line of reasoning isn't helping.
So to answer the question, right? There's a clear differentiation in the behavior that's surrounding what the person is doing in the hot tub.
I don't believe that there is a difference between a girl in a bikini on the beach and on a stream.
You don't think that there's a difference between what the people are doing? The behavior of the two people? Like, let's say someone's just going to the beach to hang out, and then someone's on Twitch.
The difference is that the purpose of going to the beach is to not attract viewers, whereas the purpose of being on stream is to attract attention.
Right.
That's why I put this fucking pearl snap on, biatch.
to get the so I don't want it to seem like
Dude, I know this pearl snap brought in at least 2 views tonight.
100%. The pearly snaps, man.
Thank you guys who can appreciate my pearl snap.
But I think there's been multiple lines of like questioning to try to get to the point. Obviously, like the intention of bringing up like the 13-year-old and putting them in that same environment is to demonstrate that the behavior is different, right? The behavior is an overly sexualized behavior that is attempting to attract people to give them money.
Okay. That's where I was getting lost.
Yeah, it's not about your attraction to that particular person, but it's the behavior that is trying to generate some sort of sexualized behavior. Like they're trying to generate sexualized behavior out of their viewership.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with like the attraction of like whether or not you're attracted. Like if I go to a beach, I'm going to be attracted to females, right? Like that.
Right.
I'm attracted because I'm attracted to females by like through the process of my life. I've been groomed that particular way, right? So I'm going to be obviously attracted to when I see a female, and in any event, if there's any sort of increase in sexualization, it's obviously more so. But what I'm implying is that there's a clear differentiation between just chilling in a hot tub and what the behavior that is happening on the Just Chatting streams that are girls in hot tubs.
Okay. So. Well, I apologize. I didn't mean to seem like I was trying to evade your question.
No.
But
I understand.
Okay. Did I answer it?
Yes, you did now.
Okay.
Basically, what I was trying to spin, because we've both been doing like this line of vague questioning to try to push the other person into presenting their opinion to validate our question.
We're good at that.
Yeah, we're really good at that. But not that it's an issue, but the realization that we all have is that the fact that we're even talking about it is because if it was just girls hanging out in hot tubs, no one would give a flying fuck. No one would care at all. But there's clearly
because that's been a thing.
Yeah. There's clearly something different happening, and it's based on the presentation, the behavior, the things that are in line with them. The hot tub is a vessel for them to dress in a certain way. That's all that it is.
Gotcha. Okay.
You think that they want to sit in a fucking hot tub all night and wrinkle their fucking toes out, man?
Dude, hot tubs are exhausting.
suck,
That's why
man.
They're using that fucking lukewarm water. Oh my! Every time I'm in a hot tub, I'm like, okay, how long until it's acceptable for me to get out before
Dude, I
I'm
wonder
like,
if those are hot tubs or if it's
I
just
love
water.
hot tubs. What?
so uncomfortable for me, dude.
It's one of the best times of my life I've been in a hot tub.
Herpes.
Think about it.
Any final points?
No.
No, I think we covered it. I do need to use the bathroom, though, because I'm an old man and I have an old man bladder.
Hey, you know what? The only reason I haven't peed is because I'm probably quite dehydrated. That's when I know that I'm dehydrated. Is if I have one beer, especially a tall boy Red Stripe, and I haven't had to urinate. You're gonna go a bit.
I have one last point. What I love about Twitch, the thing that really pulls me in and keeps me in Twitch, is the fact that the community, including Jimmy, can take something that it's not on the surface, we don't agree with it, right? Like no one wants this sort of presentation on the front page of Twitch, right? It just makes us all, like, it has a certain perception, but we can take that thing that we don't agree with, and we're not going to go and cry and fucking go with pitchforks and say fuck Twitch. We're gonna just turn it into a meme. We're gonna have our beer glass floating in like Jimmy's scene with in a hot tub. We're gonna make jokes out of it. We're all gonna just start doing it, right? Like Chance and all those guys, like Soda Poppin' and Mizkif. They were all in hot tubs, right? To make a joke of this thing. That's how we deal with these problems that we don't agree with, instead of just turning it into a shit show and saying, lighting shit on fire. Because anytime we talk about these sort of things, it like creates an environment where like sexist assholes that are just looking for an argument and things to talk about that are anti-woman just sit and talk shit, so then they can push their their narrative further, and fuck those guys. They can eat shit and die.
Yes, they can.
But yeah.
One of the final points that I want to make, and this is kind of like an open invitation. Again, I am very, very open to being educated on this. If there are any women in the chat that would be open to being on the podcast and kind of having this conversation, because I'm glad that we all had this, and I'm glad that we had our perspectives and our opinions. But at the same time, like, I also want to have it with non-men. To get the other sides as well. So if there's anybody that's open to having that conversation, please shoot me a DM, either on Twitter or Discord if you're open to have it. Even if you just want to have it offline, not on Twitch. Yeah, if that's not your forte, if you want to be on camera, that's totally fine. But if there's anything that I said tonight that you feel like you could educate me better on, I'm open. Email, Discord DMs, Twitter DMs, whatever. Please get at me. The other thing that I want to touch on super quick, and I have a feeling, I don't know if this was what Jimmy was alluding to when I said don't say female, and it looked like Jimmy was asking, like, wait, why can't we say female? We don't call men males, and calling women female is basically alluding to that. The only thing that they're for is reproduction. Like, that is what the male and female terms are used for, and which is why I've stopped saying female, or tried to stop saying female, and why everybody should stop as well. And I'm sure that's going to fucking tickle some PC feathers, but I don't fucking give a shit what you find offensive and don't find offensive. That is not my concern. All I care about is trying to give women their fucking life back and trying to make it as comfortable as possible for them in the spaces that I exist. So that is always a high priority for me.
Nice.
Interesting conversation. It's crazy how right now, even into this podcast, this is the biggest fucking thing to happen in however long, and on the
Twitch,
grand scheme of things, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I'm sure there's one person at Twitch's round table that has actually voiced this, but it's a problem for us down here. You know, I'm sure for the executives and the shareholders are like, is money coming in? Yes. Okay, then we don't fucking give a shit.
Yep.
Doubt it even made its way up to Amazon either. Yeah, it's crazy how these things are mountains for us now, and then we'll see
Today
what
has been
happens
the
in 3
first
weeks.
day that I haven't seen any on the Just Chatting category. While we were doing our research for this, it was like regularly, obviously if you scroll down, you might be able to find some stuff. But as I'm scrolling, I'm not seeing any hot tubs in general. But yeah,
my other counterpoint to that is we know that if you click on Just Chatting, that you're going to get some type
weird
of that.
shit. Yeah.
But somebody who doesn't know Twitch clicks on Just Chatting might not know that that's the content that they're going to see. And I get that to a point, but at the same time, like, it's not like you're just going to the main page and that's what you're seeing. Like, you have to sort of get there in order to see it. From what I've seen and what I've heard, but I can't say that as a fact, right? Like, that's such an anecdotal experience where, like, we can talk about the shit we see on streamer Twitter for weeks. Jimmy will come back from a month vacation and be like, what the hell are you what are you guys talking about? I haven't seen anything. And that's kind of where, like, the algorithms and curation and stuff comes in as well.
Yeah, I don't think it, like, the biggest differentiation, like, if I look on not differentiation, but I know where to look to find the Just Chatting category, where if someone's brand new to Twitch, I think it's a single click away from the homepage. If you just click on the biggest category, because, like, I'm on an incognito window right now and it says categories we think you'll like, and Just Chatting's the number one. But
okay.
I think you have to still know where to look, but I still think it has a negative connotation if parents look at that. And not that that's like this is totally an issue that's up to Twitch to decide, right? They have to figure out if, hey, this is what we want for a platform, or if it's something we don't want. Women are allowed doing whatever the fuck they want, but it's up to Twitch to decide what's allowed in their TOS, and if they want to have sexualized content, then they can have it, right? It's just depending on how they choose to monetize their platform. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
there's going to be something else, though. Like, it's funny because we've talked about these kind of things in the past on the podcast, but hot tubs is just a new vessel of people finding a way to evade the Twitch TOS, right? Like, I've seen people that are in, like, the UFC category playing the game, streaming UFC, like a UFC fight, and that's the way that they get around, like, because they're still playing the game. Obviously, it's still illegal, but Twitch doesn't immediately ban them because it looks like they're playing the game instead of them just watching a UFC fight. The best thing actually that's come out of this is that this is the only Twitch drama we've really had to talk about in a couple weeks that it's something that looks bad from Twitch's standpoint, because it looks like Twitch isn't acting fast enough. But in most cases, like the last year has been more of a shit show, in my opinion. And it's kind of good to not be completely mad about everything that they're doing. You know what I mean?
Right. And I hate being a show where all we talk about is the flavor of the week drama.
Yeah.
And I think it's apparent that I selfishly wanted to talk about this because I needed some help in understanding the perspectives and the opinions. So I'm glad that we had this talk, because it kind of opened my eyes to a lot, and especially a lot of the shit from chat too. Thank you guys for participating in the conversation. I read over almost everything to try and get some other opinions and stuff. So for anybody that spoke up in chat, thank you for sharing your perspective as well.
Yeah. Most def.
I think we might have 2 questions and just a couple statements. So without trying to rehash a lot of the same conversations, I still want to go over. Hellhound's first question was, is there proper attire to wear in a hot tub stream to not piss off people? I haven't seen any fully clothed hot tub streams.
No, Jimmy linked one in the Discord. There's that guy in the...
There's that guy in the
Oh,
hot
shit,
tub
that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
He had like 200
dressed.
viewers.
My man.
He was pretty much fully dressed in like an inflatable tub.
I like
Some
it.
big dude.
Yeah, like there was dudes like Mizkif, H3, American Dad. They all did bikini hot tub streams. And of course, no gripes, only memes when it came to that, which is a whole nother conversation. Another statement from Hellhound on the subject of Twitch bad habits. At what point does someone become too much of a sponsored shill when they replace perfectly good gear with shitty sponsored name here gear? Going from a good dynamic mic with a Go XLR to a Wave mic, and also with the Go XLR still in the setup. So I think he's referring to people just basically throwing quality out the window just to continue peddling products for who they're sponsored by.
This is probably a representation of where you have people on Twitch who come into a measure of success fairly quickly to get sponsored. You probably have a few hundred viewer average type, right? Or however you made that success, whether it was quickly or not, you probably. For these types of sponsorship opportunities, you probably are averaging, at least 100 plus, right? A couple hundred more than likely. And I think this is a clear thing about people not understanding what their worth is and thinking that quantity of sponsorship is greater than quality of sponsorship, and not understanding what that is going to change to your particular stream. Like, don't get me wrong, I joke about this sort of thing all the time on my own stream because I sell merch and whatever. But the truth is, there are a couple of partnerships that I'm hoping to look for, and I'm not going to even try and push that agenda until after, hopefully, I can make a Twitch partner.
Yeah.
But you got to make it fit your stream. You got to make it fit your what you're trying to do. If it fits what you're trying to do, great. If it doesn't, yeah, I mean, I guess that's just, I think where people don't understand what their worth is. And, trying to take on things just by thinking if I'm sponsored by more people, I can make more money and it's just going to make things better. When in reality, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah. I think it's also like a desire for validation from a lot of streamers, right? Like they're seeking validation. So if, let's say in this particular instance, I think the Wave 3 is Elgato's microphone, right? They might be they're seeking validation from a company that's in the space, which validates them as a streamer in the space, right? What most of this, screams at me is it's like a lack of experience just in what sponsorships are and a lack of perspective of what sponsorships are, from the streamer's perspective and potentially from the viewer's perspective. But when it comes to the streamer, you should always seek sponsorships that you actually receive some sort of value for before you reach out to them. So for instance, if you're using a Go XLR because it provides some sort of value to them, you can convert that into some sort of story or some sort of messaging that produces real authentic value for the sponsor. So in this case, the person, to summarize that, find sponsorships of shit that you're already using or stuff that you want to try to use and give a real validated, clear opinion of what those products are. Like to have if I swap to a Wave 3, it would be, and to peddle that to my viewers just because someone gave it to me for free. It makes no sense, right? Obviously I see where there's like a negative aspect to that, unless I could create some sort of story that's in line with, hey, my other setup was more professional, but this is a great option for people that are entering the streaming space. And if my viewers are those sort of people, then I can create a story, right, that's in line with that. And that's all that sponsors really care about, is if you can interest other people or influence other people to potentially trying their product. The time where it becomes something that it doesn't really sell the viewer is when the person is not being authentic or they don't have an authentic story to tell, right? And obviously, that word it gets thrown around a lot. But if you don't have authentic reasoning for promoting a product, you probably shouldn't consider it as a sponsorship, right? It's like if you're going to drive around, a NASCAR track with your car with logos blown all over the side of it, and you really care about people transferring Dogecoin and Bitcoin, maybe you shouldn't accept Robinhood as a sponsor because it doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
And it's the same way with streaming. Find stuff that works for you and feel free to open yourself up to sponsorship opportunities with companies that, have things that are lower level. Like if for instance, I have $1,000 setup for microphones and people are constantly coming to my stream asking me for microphone advice, I can't give them advice that's valuable, right? I can tell them, hey, you can buy thousands of dollars worth of shit, or I can get a sponsor that I can tell a story with, or have the Wave 3 and be like, hey, this is how I sound on this mic. You can buy this mic right now for $200, and here's how it sounds, right? You can create an author.
Right.
Yeah, my whole marketing angle is if I can get a Twitch partnership and guaranteed, like, where I'm hitting a certain metric that I can share with a sponsor, you know what I mean, or somebody that I'm trying to get sponsored, I can say, hey, you're getting this metric every month. I would love, because I love your beer, I would love to be a sponsor for your beer. I'm going to take this amount of advertisement money and this amount of product sample you're going to send me. And by the way, I am literally a beer on Twitch.tv. And I've even created some mock-up, sample videos, to send to, where I'm advertising what their beer's going to, it's just called, X beer.
Yeah.
But I'm making these videos, samples to send, because I know that would fit. It fits brand for me, and it's not like I can call it a hashtag ad, but it's a beer that I'm drinking anyway that I would recommend to people.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't advertise something that I wouldn't recommend to people. So you just, like you just said, make it make sense to you. I've been holding off on the whole advertising train because I haven't found anything that made sense for me until now. And now I want to wait until I have hopefully a little bit of something that might help me get in there a little easier.
Yeah.
This is always going to be a problem until the DMCA of product placement and sponsorships comes in. Until the FTC comes in and just fucking spanks everyone. This is really bad on TikTok right now. These 15, 16-year-old kids that are saying, hey, this company sent me this amazing mic. My affiliate link is in bio. No hashtag ad. No mention of sponsorship whatsoever. And one day these companies are going to come in and they are going to fuck your mouth with their massive cocks. And it's going to be bad.
Rose.
Yeah, it's I call it out every time I see it. I'm just in their comments, I'm like, no hashtag ad, and they're like, what do you mean? The company sent it to me for free. Why do I have the hashtag ad? It's like, oh, you're gonna get mouth fucked. Oh my god, when you're of age. Good distinction.
It's just a lack of experience in the space. It's such a new thing, like influencer marketing. People just don't know how to communicate with brands. They don't know what brands are looking for, so they try to just conform to what the brand has instead of telling the story, the true story of what they can present and what products they use. For instance, I would take my whole screen disappeared. I would take a sponsorship for Logitech because I love the G703. I love the mouse. I use it every day. I have 3 of them. I bought them, and there's new.
You've got 2 shoved up your ass, and you use the regular one on the rig.
I would not use one of their keyboards because I have a better product, right? I wouldn't sell out just for that. So I think it comes in line with knowing what your story is, knowing why you care about that product, and when you aren't authentic, your audience can 100% tell. Right? They can tell to the T that you don't like what you're using. So don't try to bullshit them, because you can't bullshit bullshitters in chat. Y'all are bullshitters.
They're the best bullshitters around.
In the world. I've got so many dentists and doctors and fucking engineers and astronauts in my chat.
Everybody's an expert in my chat.
Hell yeah.
I swear to God.
Next statement. Not a question, but a comment. Ain't nobody talk to me because I'm sexy, even though Squirt is extremely sexy.
Right.
They talk to me because I'm quick-witted and nice. I don't need people in my life because of how I look. And I think that is probably the only thing that I think about. The only time where I think I have an opinion over what a woman should be doing, I think about women that are getting into sex work really early that might not be in it for the rest of their lives, right? Or I fear that them opening themselves up to the internet is just welcoming so many fucking problems. And I worry for them, because in the same way how we talk about people take sponsorship deals without really understanding, not looking at the contract, I think the same could be said for young women, 18, 19, 20, who get into sex work that young, and then they've already given away everything that they have to give away. And some are totally fine with that, right? And it's not my job to determine what you think is good for your life. That's just, there was one thing, it's I hope that that's something that they consider when they do this type of stuff, because once it's out there, it's out there, but that's not my problem. That's your problem. So I have nothing to say about it.
Yeah, yeah. The entire conversation, just to paraphrase that a little bit, the entire conversation that we've had about the hot tub streams aren't whether or not women should be doing this. Like on, the question is whether or not it should be done on Twitch. That's the entire conversation. Whether or not it's an acceptable presentation for Twitch. That's it. You can do whatever the fuck you want. If tomorrow I wanted to go start making poop videos on OnlyFans and pooping and taking pictures of my poop, okay, I could do that.
I could make a lot of money with all the poops.
Yeah,
I can make a lot of poop.
But maybe that shouldn't be on the front page of Roblox. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be or marketing that to kids that are playing Roblox all day and saying, hey, it's been really fun playing with you guys today. Come check out my OnlyFans, and I'll send you an email through Twitch, and you can come check out my poop videos. Full asshole exposed. Like that's
I can make a whole YouTube experience,
right? So
with poop videos.
And by the way, I should specify that it's not just women getting into sex work. It's people getting into sex work. I made a huge mistake just saying the one. I almost just said that there was only one G word, and that was even a bigger mistake. It's just sex work in general, and especially when it comes to it's the same deal. Like people getting into shit. I'm not saying it. People that get into shit super, super young, but it's like the same could be said about me taking mushrooms when I was fucking 17 or smoking weed when I was 15. Like that could be said about anything. So it's your own life. Live that shit.
Know the risk.
Indeed.
Last question from Panzer. To Nack's point, whose problem is this? Do you three believe hot tub streams, and I mean streams that are primarily popular due to sexualized content, have a place on Twitch?
Wait, can you say that again? I'm ADD.
Do you believe that these streams, with the streams that have sexualized content, have a place on Twitch? Do you think that they belong on Twitch?
Under the current terms of service, they do.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really it. I don't, like I said, I think it's clever. Honestly, if I was a hot woman that looked good in a bathing suit, and I was in my early 20s and Twitch was a thing, and I wasn't necessarily wanting to be like, fully nude on OnlyFans, but was trying to use my body to make some money. Fuck yeah. You're trying to tell me I wouldn't do that? Absolutely. I mean, because at the end of the day, what are you doing? You're laying in a hot tub in your bathing suit, and people are going to pay you money for that? Fucking yeah. I mean, I don't see what the big issue is. The issue for some is the argument, I guess, is on Twitch is, well, if this happening on Twitch, then they can't ban people for other stuff.
Right.
So again, the ultimate argument is, under the current terms of service, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well,
as far as I
in the last podcast, we actually talked about Twitch implementing a new rule where they could ban people for their behavior off of the platform. So that's really interesting. We'll see how that pans out, if that has any relation to this at all. Obviously, there was a bunch of extreme situations where that was the case, but I see it all comes down to your personal perspective, right? This is all perspective based because it depends on what you see Twitch as. I'm sure there's people that go to Twitch literally just to watch shit shows on Just Chatting. They're like, hey, Friday night, let's just see what sort of weird fucking shit we can pull up on Just Chatting, because there is some weird ass shit. Where there's some other people, like in our small community, where people are just bouncing between the 30 or 40 streamers that are within our small circle, and they have a different view of what Twitch is. It's gameplay. It's people have a different view. So it comes down to the.
Can I stop you for a second, only because I want to address this, and going back to the original question. But Panzerbjorn, to answer the question is, if your question meant more about ethics as opposed to terms of service, the same question I can have: who's deciding the ethics of what? You know what I mean? Like, there's no ethics committee that's like a realistic thing on Twitch. Like ethics, it's such like ethics is like ideology or philosophy. I mean, it's such a loose term. How do you make that argument that ethically it should or should not be allowed?
Right.
I think that's a hard thing. That's a hard line to draw in the sand, and you would have to have some type of special committee. And I certainly don't have the moral authority to decide what is ethically right or wrong on Twitch, aside from the obvious things, of course. Right.
Well, and it goes back to my point of perspective, because if that committee has a certain scope of what they think Twitch to be, it might not be accurate to other people or what they think Twitch is, right? So it really comes back to Twitch identifying what their platform is, what is okay on their platform. The current TOS, like Jimmy mentioned, it's okay. It makes these things okay. This is a workaround.
100% agree.
Right.
It has to come back to Twitch.
So it's a workaround of the rules to present in a certain way, but it's within the scope of the rules, right? It's
it has to come back. I mean, at the end of the day, the only if this continues to grow or change or whatever, Twitch is going to have to address what they deem to be acceptable or not, and they're going to have to come to the realization if they have these types of streams that become more and more prevalent on Twitch, they're going to have to figure out either another category or something. You know what I mean? To address that. Because you can't lump in this type of content with just chatting. Because what we're doing right now, I would consider just chatting and nothing like a hot tub stream.
Right. Unless you were.
But next episode.
Shit. Oh, we don't fucking ruin it,
dude. This would fall. That would fall through my floor in a fucking heartbeat. 100-year-old house? Are you kidding me? I'm lucky that I'm still standing here.
So the only problem that the only real issue that we have here, which comes back to the ethics, which Jimmy just covered, is a pretty vague thing, is when you translate your viewership on Twitch and then push them to something like OnlyFans, where you have explicit content without any sort of process to weed out children.
Why did you drop your OnlyFans sub?
Your mustache, you trimmed it, so I didn't feel it was as bushy as it used to be. But my point here, it's really important, Jimmy, is that streamers have been found to do these hot tub streams, right, with no age gating, and then people that follow them and subscribe to them are immediately sent an email that says, "Hey, come check out my hot content, my juicy pics," and it's all explicit pornography, right?
No, that shouldn't be allowed. Right. Like you shouldn't. I mean, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's the real problem, and that's obviously that's definitively wrong. You see that,
and people are getting banned for that.
Right, they're getting banned for that, but some people are not actually getting banned. They're getting
again, golden goose sort of deal.
Yeah, golden goose.
I mean, and that's just welcome to. We didn't get a chance to hit on Knacker's other point with high school life, but I think that would have tied directly into it because that's really what it comes down to. I mean, there's cliques, there's people that get special privileges based off of prior, deeds. It's just the way life goes, man.
Yep. So that's the main problem. That's something that we really can't cover because it's definitively wrong, right? Like if you don't have any way to figure out who your audience is, like if I'm playing games and I have a bunch of kids coming watching me play Fortnite and then I'm emailing them offline to come watch me touch my penis, like that's totally wrong, right? So it's totally up to Twitch to make those rules very clear and to make sure people that are doing that are penalized, right? But that's not up for us to decide. That's clearly wrong.
Penalized.
So
penalized.
Oh,
well, that is the last of the questions. I know that there were some questions that came in after I had closed it, but what good podcast host would I be if I didn't close the questions when I said I was closing the questions? So
that's right.
Son of a gun.
Sons of bitches.
I am very thankful for both of you and your mustaches and your opinions and your point of views.
Thank you.
I know that talking about Twitch drama was probably not the number one thing that you felt like talking about on a Sunday night. So I appreciate you submitting to me, even though it is my show. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off.
Shit, you motherfucker. I just didn't have anything better to talk about, so I just said, okay, we'll talk about this. What?
Nothing in chat. Everybody in chat.
What?
No, I was just fucking you. That's all.
I will punch you in your
bitch
waxed mustache.
Can you tell that it's waxed?
I can because it curls up, and that's not natural.
You know what it is when you blow dry it
I have
that
a
way.
Mustache. You douche.
Yeah, dude. When it gets long enough, when you get out of the shower, you hold a blow dryer.
I have never blow dried my mustache.
That's because you've never had the balls to have a mustache like this, you pussy. Yeah, curl it. Let's see if you have the balls to grow it this long. If you have the stamina.
I hope you have the balls to grow some hair out.
That's
this
not
long,
fair.
Okay?
You and me have the balls to shave your head because I can grow hair, no problem. Like I said, you guys want to shave your heads. Like I was saying, chat. Thank you. You guys have proven to me time and time and time again that even though there may be people in chat that have differing opinions, it is nothing but respectable.
I was reading through as we were talking about it, Knackers. There were so many just coherent and measured takes that I was like,
what the hell?
I should just fucking read chat because this is way better than anything I got. You know? I was about to say, like, all right, jetpack, oh, that's a good take. I'm going to go ahead and read off of that one.
Just take that. We thank you for not only giving us a chance to give our perspective and our opinions. We very much appreciate you being confident enough to bring yours forward, to know that we have a space where you feel like you can say something and not get trashed. Thank you to that, and then thank you for also treating each other with respect. I didn't see a single dick slaying in the chat. Everybody was super nice, like you said, coherent and respectable. And I very much appreciate that. Like, that is the stuff that allows me to sleep at night, knowing that we have a group of people that treat each other respectfully. So thank you.
Well, and the other piece of that too, Knackers, is that we don't really talk about this stuff. Like, this is just our perspective that's unpolished, that we're here just on this podcast to talk to each other about it, to literally just nail out all the hard corners. You know what I mean? Like, grind this thing smooth, have like a concise opinion with different perspectives. That's the most important thing. So the fact that we have the opportunity to do that is major.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Except for Jimmy. Fuck you, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy, you fucking beautiful shirt, man.
Yeah, nice curly fucking buttons, man.
Yeah, look, I added those pearls, bitch.
We call it the Pearl Snap Bun.
Hey.
All that I can say is I'm extremely happy that Knackers wore that shirt today, because there's the risk of him getting hit by a car while he's sitting inside of his.
You don't have to worry about getting hit by a car, Knackers.
See
Everyone is going to see you from at least 300 yards away.
Also, they immediately go, holy shit, there's a thumb on a skateboard. Run. Please turn the car around.
Oh, my God. There's a thumb with glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
All right. You guys want to say who the fuck you are and what you have going on, and then we'll close this bitch down?
Of course, Jimmy, please go ahead. I always allow my seniors to go first.
Everybody knows who I am. All right, go ahead.
Oh, at that point, all right.
My name is BishopGP. I am the son of MiddleAgedStream. My father regularly streams Batman to his own demise on his channel at MiddleAgedStream on Twitch. Or you can find him on Twitter at MiddleAgedStream without the D. He's always posting nice little tweets, and he's letting you know when he's going live. He's supporting his fellow streamers. There's some great streamers that he responds to, so you can check them out too. For me, of course, I am Knacker's friend.
Yes.
And my name is BishopGP. You can find me on Twitch at BishopGP or at Twitter at BishopWasHere. I'll probably stream something this week. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll see. God bless you. And I'm going to just pass the ball, the foam ball that we use to talk to Knackers. Oh, I muted my headset.
Thank you. My name is Knackers. You guys can find me on this very Twitch channel. I stream sometimes Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays, and then sometimes Fridays. And then Sundays are really the only for sure these fucking days. But no, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is my streaming schedule. I have podcasts coming up, obviously. We have some tech streams coming up, going over some new things for 3D printing. There are some new resources that I found for Twitch streamers that I want to go over on stream as well, for the good old fashioned tech stream. You guys can find me at Knackers with 3 A's on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Y'all fucking know I love TikTok,
baby.
And thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us. There will be an episode of the podcast next Thursday. If correct me if I'm wrong, calendar.
Thursday? Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's kind of the new thing is Thursdays and Sundays are both reserved for Crocs and Hot Pockets. But it all depends on whether I can find a guest in time, because scheduling 2 guests like 4 weeks out is a lot.
Talking about TikTok, I made my first TikTok post. What do you think, Knackers? Was it the top tier content you were expecting?
No, you brought this up the last time that we talked.
Really?
The one with Howie?
Yeah.
We don't care about your TikTok.
I loved it, Bishop. I loved it.
Fantastic content, top tier.
I'm going off of my memory, but Kick Tripod, one of the original team members of the Go XLR, who helped design the Go XLR and who is actually a part of a new company who I can't say the name of yet, and developing new shit. So he's a super good friend of mine, very insightful when it comes to technology, and we're going to bring him on to talk about some audio, some video, and some good old streaming industry stuff. And then next Sunday will probably be another episode of Crocs. And then this group will be back here in 2 weeks. There's no holiday in 2 weeks, is there? Is that Memorial Day?
Yo,
in 2
4th
fucking
of
weeks?
July.
Yo, check this out. 2 weeks from now, it'll be my last show that I won't be working because the show after that, I'll be on vacation.
You know, normally I would guilt you for having months off, but any teacher that taught through the pandemic, you have my utmost
It's been a fucking
respect.
year, man.
Yeah.
A year.
Crazy.
A year.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in. Again, thank you again for allowing us to have a conversation, giving us your opinions. It was a fantastic episode. And, of course, if anybody wants to talk about it after the fact, please shoot me a DM.
All negative goes to those guys. Wait, this guy and this guy. Negative, this guy. And then all positive. If you have something positive to say about the show, please send it to
I'm
me.
the power bottom on this podcast.
All negative to those guys.
All right. Goodbye.
Mr. Jar Jar Binks. Mr. Jar Jar Binks.
It's hilarious that your son's voice effects come through, but your voice does not.
I know. Why is that?
Jar Jar.
All right. Fuck off, assholes.